Okay, I should be live, and the fucking mic should be working this time. Let me... Oh, I need to... There we go. Let me get my... shit all in order here. Yeah, it's saying the mic is working, so... Figures the one time I don't test it. Referring to last week, of course. Hi, Ash. A white hole? I've never seen one before. No one has. Hi, Sticks. Make sure my drink is properly mixed here. I try to put... Sorry, I bumped the mic again. Try to put in the water first before the stuff, because otherwise sometimes the stuff will stick to the bottom, but this time I didn't do it that way. That's pretty good. It's a combination of peach mango and peach tea. So it's kind of peach mango tea. Oh, chat's not very chatty yet. Come on, everybody. I did get started about a minute or two early, so only 2 viewers. Yeah, well, the peach mango flavor is an energy drink, and it's got like twice the amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee. So I put half of it in the glass and half peach tea, which I think doesn't have any caffeine, at least not as much as an energy drink. I'm gonna keep talking about Crystal Light until people start saying stuff. Actually, that's probably not going to really help, is it? Well, am I not... Yeah, I'm public. Okay. So the problem with Season 7 was it was supposed to end. Season 8 happened, so they made it short. As Harriet wasn't going to work out long term, as she's not... Who? Harriet? Do you mean Ainsley Harriet? No, you said she. I have no idea who you're talking about. Hi, Adam. Enjoying your drink. I've got a curry appropriately enough. There you go. I actually came across an old Facebook post where I talked about the time I made chicken vindaloo the first time. So that was kind of a funny coincidence. Well, the issue wasn't that Kachansky's not funny. The issue is that their writing of her was bad. It wasn't the actress's fault, but either way, yeah. Unfortunately, the audience was probably soured on her, so she had to go, but it really wasn't her fault. I'm going to maintain that. She was written very badly. I thought she was working out okay in Season 7, actually. She was a little hit or miss, but like you could tell where they were going to go with her. And then Season 8 just like ruined everything. Well, yeah, of course she's no Chris Berry. Who is? Well, maybe I'll just start this, because I don't know why there aren't more people showing up. I'm live. I announced it on Twitter. I did all the normal things. Maybe it takes a while for people to start coming in. I've just forgotten. I guess I'll just start this. I can't think of much to talk about, so we'll let the opening... oh, hi, Julia. We'll let the opening play the first time, as usual. Turn it down a little on my end. Hi, Tolchok. Use your sponsor. I don't know what you mean. I know you're probably joking, but... Hi, Peter. I said hi to Peter right when Pete started.
Get used to seeing Lister and Rimmer marched over to Captain Hollister's desk. There's going to be a lot of that in this episode.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Also their respective salutes. Anyway, it turns out they played a little prank on Ackerman by slipping him some truth serum.
He rushed onto the bridge this morning, apologized for being late, saying he'd been having jiggy-jiggy with the science officer's wife, and hadn't allowed enough time to change out of his Batman outfit.
Permission to snigger, sir.
Permission refused.
You may have to snigger anyway, sir.
These two are like BFFs all of a sudden. It's kind of adorable. I see Ackerman eventually got his glass eye back.
You two are both serving a 2-year sentence in the brig. Do you want to get out? Ever?
Anyway, their excuse
Moonbeam.
is that he's horrible.
I'm extremely nice. That's why I entered the service, sir. So I could share my sunny disposition with inmate scum who didn't have my start in life.
Flashback to their first day.
Seems like a nice guy.
This is so hard for me to watch. Even Rimmer is wincing. Of course, Ackerman denies it. So anyway, Captain Hollister has an unusual punishment in mind.
You and a team of your choice will play basketball against a team of guards led by Mr. Ackerman, where you will be trounced and humiliated in front of the entire inmate population.
God, he's an asshole in Season 8. So the game happens and they're losing as expected, but they have an equally unusual revenge in mind. They've laced the other team's drinks with, well, basically Viagra.
Within seconds, you're harder than a quadratic equation, and it doesn't wear off for 7 hours.
Harder than a quadratic equation. That's a good line.
And it works. I love Crichton cleaning the ball. And our team wins. And Captain Hollister just figured out what was going on. The actor who plays him had another idea of how to handle it.
I thought Hollister should have been really proud of his. Kind of walked around. Yeah.
I honestly think that would have been funnier.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it
agree.
wouldn't have worked with a
I
following
agree with
scene.
Pasadena.
Afterwards, there they go again. And again.
I couldn't remove my shorts until after midnight. When I wanted a leak, I had to do a handstand on the toilet.
Serves you right.
First thing tomorrow, you're on spud duty.
You couldn't just kind of
2
point
weeks.
it
Now
down?
Get out
Oh.
of my sight, both of you.
Later on, it's dinner time, and of course, the food is terrible.
Kill Crazy reckons to give us the cloning experiments that have gone wrong with some gravy slopped over to disguise it.
Kill Crazy would say that.
Every time they flush a loo on a plane, it drops straight out. And that's why they don't let you go to the lab with the plane standing on the runway, for fear of skid starts.
Anyway, you'll notice that Lister isn't eating his. That's because he has a guy. Bob the Scudder.
Chicken vindaloo. What about the poppadoms? You didn't forget them, did you? Here's a little something for you.
Scudders are so cute.
Is that the scud that got the stiff
Love me
legs
some
of the
Scudders.
game?
Turns out Bob is basically Morgan Freeman and can get anything. Rimmer and Lister start their potato peeling tomorrow.
Morgan Freeman.
So they come up with an idea.
What we want is one of those programmable viruses from the science block.
So we could program them to eat the skins off the potatoes and leave the rest intact.
So Lister sends the message through Morse code.
Damn.
Can't he help us?
No, wrong number. We've got the Chinese laundry. Do you need anything ironing?
The next day, it's another Canary mission. They're searching for a group that went missing. They find them alive, but frozen in time somehow. Apparently because of this device.
Obviously, they used it erroneously.
Don't mess with that thing. It can root. Early screw.
I love this guy.
You up?
It appears to be able to digitize time and then download it and store it on a hard drive.
Oh yeah, this is the one with
And
the
then be
time
uploaded into objects
thing.
or replace it.
So Crichton just immediately starts playing with it, which is a little out of character. Isn't he usually a little more concerned about possible side effects and such? Oh well.
And now it's regressed your outfits to a previous time in your life.
I'm pretty sure neither of them were alive in the 60s, and Kat's race didn't even exist yet. Anyway, Kachansky has an idea.
If we can smuggle this thing back on Red Dwarf, it can make our prison terms pass in seconds.
I have an excellent place to conceal it.
Okay. And how did the guard not see that? Come on. Then again, if they didn't notice anything unusual about Crichton, they must not be very observant. Later on, potato duty has started, and Lister tries out the virus.
It's working on this one. Yes. And here's another.
And it works.
Fan-smegging-tastic, Listy. We're on our way.
A little too well. Because they start eating their clothes. And hair. Be glad they stopped there. This could have gotten really dark.
Yeah.
And there they go again. Rimmer and Lister fangirls rejoice. And fanboys. I like this new version of the Rimmer salute.
If I ever see you in this office again, then you're in the hole. Is that what you want?
No, sir.
Well then, get out.
Thank you, sir.
Shaking his hand was not the best idea since they hadn't been to the Meta Bay yet.
2 months in the hole.
It looks like Butters.
You can do boob jobs too.
I'm just tired of complaining about Kachansky at this point. So now we're suddenly introduced to Baxter, who is this bully that they've had to put up with for a while, even though we're past the halfway point of the season and this is the first we're seeing of him. Also, Kat getting beat up isn't really funny to me. The scene with Ackerman kinda was, but I'll go more into it in the Kat videos.
Yep.
So Crichton gets back at him by turning the chicken he was eating into, well, a chicken.
I special iron.
Meanwhile, Rimmer and Lister are thrown into solitary? That's not how solitary works. I know Captain Hollister said the hole, but that usually means solitary confinement. Oh well, plot convenience. And there's yet another guy in there.
Surely they call me Birdman. This is Pete.
How long has this guy been in solitary? What the hell, Hollister? Anyway, it's Bob to the rescue. It turns out that Crichton has frozen everyone on the ship except them.
Guys!
Oh, sirs.
Buddies! This is Birdman.
And this is Pete.
You'll notice that every time Birdman says Pete's name, Pete sneezes. So Kachansky shares her idea about making their sentence pass faster with Lister and Rimmer. Also, Crichton fixes their hair.
Something wrong with Pete.
But poor Pete dies,
The excitement of being free has killed him.
and Birdman is crushed.
Aw.
But Crichton attempts to turn back time on Pete and bring him back to life. Nice Jurassic Park reference there.
There's a
But
lot
yeah,
of Jurassic Park
Crichton
references
somehow
in this.
set the dial back way too far, and Pete is now a Tyrannosaurus Rex, the direct descendant of sparrows, because that's how that works.
Pete? Is actually Pete?
Here it comes. And there's another reference to Jurassic Park.
God bless you!
Gesundheit.
They even did the God bless you thing.
Want some seed? That's a no then, is it?
And so much for Birdman.
What now, sir? Follow the Rimmer-shaped blur.
Or don't, whatever. Part 2 picks up right where Part 1 left off.
I guess I'll get caught up on the chat really quick. Raid Shadow Legends Dollar Shave Club. As much as I'd like to think I wouldn't accept a offer from Raid Shadow Legends, I'm so I need money so bad it's possible I would if they offered. I would die a little inside though. It may be a rough product, but Pete is easily my favorite Season 8 episode. That may be because I love me some dinos. Yeah, same. I don't know that it's my favorite Season 8 episode, but I do like it for that. They're having a space jam. I'm sad I didn't think to make that joke. Not much for Kat to do in Season 7 and 8, yep. I don't know about Season 7, but yeah, definitely Season 8, though. Funny that Hollister should mention a Batman costume, seeing as he was one of the Joker's goons. Yeah, I mentioned that in my Batman video, or Batman Returns video, because I talked about the first movie too a little bit. Methinks Lister enjoying downtime in prison is why he didn't try to get out sooner. Good point. He kind of doesn't care. Some people get used to prison life if they're there long enough. Well, that's true. Good one, Special Iron. Scrambling in a Red Dwarf alert situation, etc., etc. Came in just in time to see Naked Lister and Rimmer. Perfect timing. Seriously, what's with the boob job joke? I know, that's so out of character for her. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they wrote Kachansky's lines in season 8. Missed opportunity. Cat gets hit with a time wand and is turned into, well, a cat. Yeah, that's definitely a missed opportunity. I don't know why they didn't think to do that. I guess they figured they had enough going on in this episode. Special Iron is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Hi, Hershey. I don't think I saw you before. For what it's worth, birds are actually more closely related to raptors than T-Rex. Yeah, that's a little iffy, the connection between like songbirds and Tyrannosaurus Rex specifically, but whatever. Rule of comedy. I just think it's funny to point out stuff that doesn't make sense like that. That's a no then, is it? I've read somewhere that it's chickens that are more closely related to T-Rexes. Interesting. Follow the Rimmer-shaped blur might be one of his best lines. Yeah, might be. Hi, Ray. Pete, the TNG birthright of Red Dwarf two-parters. Only episode of season 8 I really liked is Cassandra. That one's probably the best, although it's a hard one because they all have like good stuff in them, but yeah, they're all kind of hit or miss. Yeah, Special Iron, you missed the basketball game. Sorry. I've heard that the Red Dwarf books are way different. Is that true, and how? Oh god, it's basically they take the concept and just write a completely different story with it, basically. If you want details, I'm not really the person to ask. Institutionalized, thank you. I was trying to remember that word and I forgot. The words of the Great Red. The first two books... Oh, hi, Abstruse One. The first two books aren't that different. They're a bit darker in tone than the show, but not that much. Last Human and Backwards are way different, though. Hi, Flash. She seems to be trying too hard to get a laugh, yeah. I saw your tweet about absinthe. Are you doing all right? What do you mean, am I doing all right because I had absinthe? Yeah, I mean, well, I've got some anxiety, but that had nothing to do with me drinking absinthe. I just, I think I was just kind of treating like last weekend. Was it last weekend? Let me remind myself of what. Yeah, last Saturday was the 18th. I was kind of treating last weekend as Valentine's Day. So I did a little bit of drinking. Although, Valentine's Day isn't necessarily a drinking holiday, but... Cassandra had the most kill crazy, I think. Oh yeah, I think so. That was the first Canary episode, I believe. The books do at least explain why Lister joined Red Dwarf. He got drunk on London on a pub crawl and woke up the next morning on one of Saturn's moons. Kill Crazy was the only good thing in Season 8. I wouldn't say the only good thing, but he's probably the best thing about Season 8. The author can take as long as they like. When doing a movie or TV show, you have to take budget and time constraints into account. That's true. TV shoe. I noticed the typo. I didn't notice that it was shoe. I don't drink. All I know is that absinthe is really strong alcohol. Yeah, it is. Not sure I like the way it makes me feel. It kind of makes my head spin. Whereas, like, Ruby Port just kind of relaxes me, so I don't know. I probably won't be drinking absinthe too much, but I really like how it tastes, though. If you don't like black licorice, you wouldn't like it, but if you do like black licorice, it's really good. I feel like that outtake of Danny should have been put into the episode, as that's a very cat of him to say. Which outtake? If this show was on now, you just know there would be woke jokes. No, I would hope that the show would be smarter than that. I mean, the show is on now, really, so the only episode that was kind of like that was what was it called? Time Wave? Is that what it was called? That was the only episode that kind of did that. It is when you're single, as in drinking on Valentine's Day. Hi, Jay. That was a good comment to start with there. Lister could get drunk and somehow get drafted into a war. I could see that happening, actually. Hi, Noah. Yeah, we're about halfway through Pete. I decided to stop in the middle and get caught up on the chat real quick. TV shoes. Oh, I've never tasted an alcohol that I liked. I know, I go against all the British stereotypes about drinking. Yeah, I mean, some alcohol, obviously it's not all the same. They're all different. You kind of just have to get used to. Alcohol just has a distinctive taste that you just kind of have to get used to. Like, some people will say that Ruby Port tastes like cough medicine, which I guess maybe it kind of does, but you're supposed to drink it really slowly. The cat being regressed into an ordinary cat should really be its own episode. I can picture it now. Danny voicing a cat puppet like Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That would be so cute. I was imagining like a real cat, so they'd have to, but that would be a pain in the ass. That would be a pain in the ass to film. Who is Atlas? What are you referring to when you keep saying Atlas? If only Crystal Light gave you a sponsorship. I know, right? They probably should. I talk about them every stream. I used to drink cider, but a homeless guy I used to know drank it all the time. His breath smelled like rotten apples, and he died from alcohol poisoning. I was put off for life. Oof. Yeah, I could see that happening. We got a lot of cat videos coming up. Yep. 3 of them, at least 3, and they're each like 30 minutes long. So I don't know. I'm probably not going to get through all of them today, but yeah, it was Time Wave. I thought so. That Time Wave episode was awful. It was made because of the writers' treatment when they went to America. The American producers referred to Grant and Naylor as the wave of negativity. Yeah, plus Time Wave was just kind of dumb. I mean, you could say it's kind of like offensive, but because there's sort of some implied negative gay stereotypes there, but really I just thought it was very lazily written. He apparently used to be a lecturer until his life fell apart. Oh, that's a bummer. I'm sorry to hear about that. If he was someone you knew well, or, well, even if he wasn't, it's still a shame. Instead of the food conversation, we're having the drinks conversation. Well, there you go. I just found this on a site I forgot the name of last night. Red Dwarf producers feared cat might be racist. Yeah, I've heard that before. That's actually how Craig Charles ended up playing Lister, because he was friends with someone who wanted to find out about that, so they had him read the script, and he said, no, he's not. By the way, I want to play Lister. Same people responsible for the Simpsons Classics episode End Gag, but remaking the end for Red Dwarf USA is the best they can come up with. Oh, I see what you're saying. For some reason that didn't... My reading comprehension was off there. Good, you've got me here to talk about cheerful things. Oh, Atlas is a character who guides you over the radio in BioShock 1. Oh, see, I've never played BioShock, so that's lost on me. Tacos or bean burgers? I haven't had tacos in ages. They're both good. I was making myself black bean burgers for lunch for a while. I kind of stopped, but I might start again because it was really good. Hi, Auntie Meta. I don't think I've seen you before. I saw you're watching Gem and the Holograms. Great show. What episode are you on? Oh, I just watched the one where they were in China. Let's see. I think I still have it open. The next one is Last Resorts. But yeah, the last one I watched was when they were in China. I clicked off. There we go. Yeah, Gem's pretty good for what it is. I mean, you have to keep in mind, budget, and it's got to be kid-friendly and all that. But, it's up there with Transformers, with just, those shows I watched when I was a kid that still really hold up for me. I could certainly complain about some things, but generally speaking, it's a pretty good show. And I love that whole 80s MTV aesthetic. That just gets me right in the childhood. I never knew him on a personal level, but he was well known around town. Okay. Only Crit Cop saves Time Wave and Rimmer's inner critic. Oh yeah, Crit Cop and also the Tutter. Those 2 bits were good. Brits tend to be more open to taking the mick out of things, at least in my experience. Everyone I know found South Park's lampooning of Harry and Meghan hilarious. I didn't find that very funny. Not in a way that I thought it was offensive or mean or anything. I just didn't find it that funny because I don't really follow those 2 very much. Actually, Danny John Jules has a black cat named T'Challa. I know. I thought that was so cool when I learned that. I need a throat lozenge. I know. Tell me about it. Now that I have medical insurance, I'm trying to get all of my little issues checked out, and I'd love to find out why the hell I have so much excess phlegm all the time. I'm sorry if that's TMI. I've been dealing with it so long, I don't even think about it anymore. For all the Britcoms that have bad US versions, there's often some good ones like Sanford and Son, yeah, The Office, or Ghosts, but UK version, or Ghosts, I don't know that one, but UK versions of US sitcoms virtually never work. That's interesting. All in the Family is probably the best, I would imagine. Original season 8 watch. When did you think they kill Rimmer? Oh, I know what you're saying. I actually talk about that in this video. I think I always assume that, you know, the Grim Reaper actually got him. Don't ask about the UK remake of the Golden Girls. I feel like when, Jose, that's his name. I feel like when Jose did his retrospective on Golden Girls, he probably mentioned that, but I don't remember anything about it. Last Resort is a classic. The song at the end is such an epic romance slow jam. Oh, is that the one where she sings Love Is Here? That's a really pretty song. I actually think Jem aged better than Transformers and G.I. Joe. The writer, Christy Marks, is a legend, yeah. Massey likes the Red Dwarf theme music. He was listening to it and wagging his tail. Aw. We used to have a dog who was a fox terrier, and he would always howl at certain TV theme songs. Always during, like, Buffy and Xena, and whenever people would sing Happy Birthday, he would bark his head off. I don't know what his deal was, but it was fun. I knew we had our own version of Married with Children, but I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, I remember. I think Jose talked about that when he mentioned Married with Children. You all should be watching Jose, by the way, if you're not. He does, like, retrospectives on old TV shows and stuff. The first one he did was Roseanne. Dinaverse has medical insurance. Yeah, finally. That reminds me, how is Lee? He's all right. He's unable to work, which is not great financially, but he's going to try streaming at some point. Yeah, and he's also on my insurance, so he's trying to get his issues checked out too. It was called The Brighton Bells, and it was pulled halfway through its first season. I've never really watched The Simpsons aside from the movie and some Christmas episodes. All I know is that it's gone south in modern season and is held as what happens when a show goes on too long. Yeah, basically. I loved The Simpsons when it was new, but man, I got so burned out on it after a point. And plus, like you said, it went downhill. There's a show I watch called Call Me Kat, which is a US version of a British show. Call Me Kat. It sounds vaguely familiar. BioShock is an immersive horror sim set in Rapture and underwater Metropolis, the game that has the big daddies, the hulking looking blokes with a drill for a hand resembling diver suits. I feel like I've seen that before. Hi Ash. I think this is the first time you posted in a bit. Odie barks at everything, but he's also very inconsistent with what he decides is worth barking at. He's a little weirdo. Yeah, I also love Jose. I love when he manages to find a clip from the show of someone saying Jose. Like, like he starts off his Married with Children one with a clip of Peggy saying, like, Jose does a great job with the gardening or something like that. And he's like, thanks, Peggy. My other late dogs, Zoe and Zeb, had sing time where they sang by howling as loud as they could. That's so cute. I love when they howl. It's so funny. He's gonna try streaming soon. I'll have to keep an eye open for that. Yeah. Married for Life, and it starred Russ Abbott, who was a very cheesy mainstream comedian. I've never seen it, but I doubt it had the edge of Married with Children. There are some later Simpsons episodes I enjoy. I prefer individual episodes over seasons. I mean, I've seen a few recent ones that were okay, but yeah, it's definitely like past its prime. Apparently Family Guy is worse than Simpsons could ever hope to be. And I only have to see clips to know that I'm not interested in watching Family. Yeah, I'd never, even during like the first few seasons where everyone else thought it was good, I've never liked Family Guy. That's not true. After it was like canceled and then renewed that first time, like I actually watched it a bit and I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of funny now. And then it went downhill again. Simpsons went downhill into the center of the earth into space and is still going. Also, 1990s British telly would never have a character that would look and act like Kelly Bundy. Who is Jose? Jose is a YouTuber. He goes by, I think on Twitter he goes by Jose Not a J, and he uses a blue jay as his avatar. I don't know how he got away with having such a common sounding name, but as a YouTube handle, I mean. You should watch the... God damn it. I was supposed to be catching up on the chat really quick, but you guys are like drawing this out. We're never going to finish Pete at this rate. To watch the classic seasons, great writing for many of the episodes, and the show's been undergoing a course correction with the latest season. You mean The Simpsons? Yeah, I've heard that. Simpsons may be failing, but they have no chance of catching up with JP Sater. God damn it. Family Guy's a cash cow, yep. I had a dumb Red Dwarf dream where for some reason I was a spare head. That's funny. Agreed on The Simpsons being past its prime, but it makes money, so they'll keep making episodes until the end of time. P.S. Screw later, Family Guy. Yeah. Hi, Taijan. Family Guy, even during its best seasons, has always been a lesser Simpsons series. The Cutaways was what set it apart from it. Yeah, in a bad way. Yeah, we're halfway through, Pete. I'll finish watching it if everybody will shut up long enough. Yeah, I'm like extra phlegmy today. I don't know why. Maybe it's the changing weather. Always messes with my sinuses. Right now, that T-Rex is tapping his foot impatiently, waiting for when he's allowed to start bashing that wall down. Now you're just tempting me to troll you, Dina, and keep on talking. Well, that's what everybody does, so... Personally, I find Family Guy hit and miss. When it's on point, it's hilarious. When it misses the mark, it can be frustrating. Have you had any cough drops? It seems like you're coughing more than usual. Yeah, my throat's like kind of or irritated. You know what? I do have some cough drops. I think I'll have one while watching this next bit. All right.
Crichton tries to get Pete to eat him for some reason, and then he throws the time wand to Bob for safekeeping, I guess. But Pete follows the movement, and so much for Bob and the time wand. Come to think of it, that could be another reference to Jurassic Park.
It was kind of the flare instead of the time
Though,
wand.
other than being trapped in a stomach, Bob is okay.
Legate mode, sir. We're finished!
Legate mode, sir.
Stop yelling, man. We've got to think our way out of this. We're finished!
Kachansky has another idea. Get the T-Rex to pass the time wand quicker.
Why don't we lure Pete into the food bay and get him to eat some roughage? All ground prunes, baked beans on toast, that sort of stuff.
We can't get Lister to eat that sort of stuff.
If we can recapture the time wand and turn Pete back into a sparrow before the freeze expires, no one need be any the wiser.
Meanwhile, unfortunately, Bob just activated the time wand and unfroze everyone. A little later, they've prepared a bowl of food for the T-Rex. I love how they wrote Dino on it so we know it's for him. Anyway, it's Vindaloo. Gee, I wonder whose idea that was. And it includes a whole cow.
Cow Vindaloo. It's not going to work.
Cow
T-Rexes
Vindaloo.
don't like curry.
If T-Rex was a bloke, he'd be a Geordie. The kind of guy who wears T-shirts in the middle of winter and his nipples don't even get hard.
I buy that.
The worst comes to the worst and the dino doesn't eat it.
Never heard the term Geordie before, but
buy
I got
that
the gist
too.
of it.
I think Lister is looking forward to it already.
Holding a fork.
Don't put that stuff in, you're gonna spoil the taste.
So here comes Pete, so they all hide and wait to see what'll happen. And Pete likes it,
Think he wants a lager?
but it doesn't like him.
That's so silly.
And here come the guards, followed by this again. And this. The T-Rex ended up raiding their food supplies.
And you know what happens when a dinosaur eats cow vindaloo and then eats 2.5 tons of mint chalk ice cream, swills
Mint
the whole
chalk.
thing down with 2,000 gallons of a popular fizzy drink? And do you know what happened to the poor, brave men who had the misfortune to get in the way of that burp?
They went,
No, actually it knocked them clear across the cargo bay. But apparently after that he ate more of all that stuff.
It didn't get a diarrhea attack, did it?
And do you know what happened to the battalion that was sneaking up on the beast from behind, of which I was a proud member? Do you know? A title.
Hollister is really funny in this
15
bit.
feet high.
Yikes. But only Lister and Rimmer and their friends know how the time wand works, so Captain Hollister tells them to go back to the cargo bay and turn the dinosaur back into a bird.
What about Bob? Did he show him?
Who the hell do you think landed on my head?
Good to know Bob is okay.
And if I ever see you in this office again, you are finished. See you in 10 minutes?
See you in
See
10
you in
minutes.
10 minutes?
This gag is really random and
See you in
goes
10
on
minutes.
for a long time. A little later,
He's good captain, though, Captain Hollister, isn't he? Hey, on the ball. Quick.
quick. The only time he's quick is when he's passing a salad bar.
oh God, Rimmer, how many times are you gonna let this happen?
You do respect him, don't you?
Respect him? And his idea of a light snacky standing behind me, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I was saying what a big fat lump of blubber I think you are. And how that potato virus I contracted yesterday doesn't appear to have had any strange side effects whatsoever.
Smooth, Rimmer.
You left it in my office. Do you have any idea the damage that this could cause if it got into the wrong hands?
Look after it!
Fist fighting is back too.
Love that.
Because this episode didn't have nearly enough subplots, Kachansky thinks she's found a mouse,
It's not a mouse, ma'am. It's Archie.
but it turns out to be the Crichton made itself
yeah.
a penis with a mind of its own, and it escaped.
It means you're a real man.
It does? Why?
Because now, like all men, you have absolutely no control over your penis.
Zing.
Zing. I was literally about to just say that.
That's Rex.
Oh, Kill Crazy is back.
The guns are for wusses. It's gonna be hand-to-hand combat.
A fist fight with a T-Rex.
With them T-Rexes, mate, only got little arms, haven't they?
Can't reach anything with him, no arms.
That's probably why they're always a bit grumpy.
Hi, Birdie.
Hey, T-Rex doesn't need to masturbate. He gets all the ladies. A little later, the canaries are on their way out when Cat suddenly has a problem.
Something inside me that wants to get out. What is it? I think it's Archie, sir.
Well, that pointless subplot is over already.
Who the smack is Archie? Don't be alarmed, sir. Just my penis is on the loose.
I do appreciate the alien reference, though. So, Baxter and Kill Crazy are idiots who want to fight the T-Rex. So, Baxter gets the time wand from Lister and tries to use it on him and Rimmer, but he doesn't really know what he's doing. So he beats them up.
According to this, sirs, they put your bodies on a different time stream to the rest of you.
But they're lagging, basically. Back to Captain Hollister they go.
You get that time wand back, you get that sparrow back, and if you step out of line one more time, you're dead.
I'm not going to reference
And now they've caught
Nostalgia
up with
Critic. Come
Baxter and
on.
Kill Crazy. Poor Captain Hollister has no idea what's going on. That didn't really make sense, but it was cute.
I don't think getting it back is going to be much of a problem.
So they go back to find that Baxter and Kill Crazy have de-evolved themselves, but not by much. It's not often I can say a T-Rex reminds me of my cat.
Something's going to go wrong.
That's Tara right
So
there.
Lister brings back Birdman.
Pete ate me. He must be really out of sorts. He's never eaten me before.
I get a kick out of him. And puts Pete back the way he was.
want some seed?
Aw. And then he destroys the time wand. Except that apparently Pete laid an egg at some point. And obviously they can't put the time wand back together. I think I've seen this cartoon before. Anyway, baby Dino escapes to an elevator and the doors close before they can get in. Meanwhile, Captain Hollister is getting a...
I guess I could have made a joke about U.S. Acres, but I did say, I guess that was probably what I was thinking of when I said I think I've seen this cartoon before.
massage. And I think we know where this is going. And they're off
Sheldon
again.
from Garfield and Friends, yep. That's what I was just thinking of.
Turns out that Captain Hollister is unable to speak due to PTSD. And he's sending himself
the end of
to the
Godzilla
hole just to get
98.
away from them. And so ends Pete. With the basketball game, Baxter, the potatoes, Crichton's penis, and the baby dino, boy did this episode have a lot of subplots. They could have easily cut out all of those and just had this be a one-parter. And it's kind of weird because the following episode is the season finale, so if any episode would be a
Hi,
two-parter,
Balrog.
you'd think it'd be that one, and not the random episode that came before it. Well, that was originally going to be the plan. What ended up happening was that they spent a lot of money on the CG T-Rex, and they basically blew the rest of the budget. So they added a lot of padding to the Pete story so it would spread over 2 episodes. Yeah, letting the budget write the plot doesn't always end with the best results.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I don't hate
Obvious
this
joke.
episode.
It's obvious.
It is way too bloated, but like the rest of season 8, I do think the jokes are funny and there's a lot of quotable lines. Also, I may be a bit biased. I just think it's kind of cool seeing a CG dinosaur in a Red Dwarf episode. Yeah, it's not the best quality CG, but come on, what did you expect? I guess I'm just kind of impressed that they even attempted it. Also, all the little nods to Jurassic Park, which is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Plus, I get a kick out of the visual of a T-Rex sleeping on its back with its feet in the air. Where else are you going to see that? And I'll
I
be
love
damned
that.
if I don't love Captain Hollister. I just get a kick out of seeing him so mad at Lister and Rimmer. He's a bit too mean at times in Season 8, but the actor just plays him so well. I also really got a kick out of this running gag. Both parts of it. I guess that's about all I have to say about
See you in
this
10
one.
minutes.
It's probably the most disorganized Season 8 episode, but I still enjoy it. Next up is a season finale, only the good. See you then.
Saw a little bit of a little bit more of Lister than I was expecting there.
There's an old cat saying which has
There it
particular
is.
relevance here. It goes something like this.
We are all gonna die. Okay, let me get caught up on the chat however long that's going to take. I'm not going to say it's going to be quick this time. I think there were fewer people in the chat halfway through, Pete. And I was thinking I could really not have to spend a lot of time getting caught up. Forget another reference. This whole sequence is probably reference to Jurassic Park. That's true. Scutters have to have God mode on. Love that Lister's solution to every problem is make a curry. It pretty much is. We can't get Lister to eat that kind of food, never mind a T-Rex. I think roughage is what he said. We can't even get Lister to eat roughage, never mind a T-Rex. Why didn't they just have Crichton get eaten and get the time wand? Well, I think they were trying to not kill Pete. I mean, if Crichton used the time wand while he was inside the T-Rex, like, it probably would have killed the bird. Jordy means someone from Newcastle. It's up in the north of England where it tends to be colder. Ah, okay. Thank you. Like I said, I got the gist of it from the you know, the context, but you guys must have really gotten a kick of Geordie LaForge's name. Who doesn't love a good cow vindaloo? I'm guessing Geordies are to the Brits what Jerseyites and Floridians are to Americans. That's the impression I get. I think it wants a lager. The dino ate the curry and the dino went, ah! Mint chalk. That sounds so weird to me. We never call it that in the US. I hear chalk and I think of like the kind of chalk you write with on a blackboard. I know it's short for chocolate, but it just sounds weird to me. I love those office scenes. To be the best part of season 8, yeah. They probably are the best part of season 8. I mean, at least we get more Captain Hollister. That's a plus. Rimmer accidentally deleting the source code to the universe and just fix the problem with curry. Yeah, I love that bit when Rimmer goes, "Fwah!" I think Lee and I like made a running joke out of that for a while. These are the scenes which we thankfully didn't get to see. Yeah, could have done without a tidal wave 15 feet high. I think T-Rexes are only like 25 feet long, so that's pretty impressive. I may be remembering wrong. It's been a while. I've forgotten some of my dinosaur knowledge. Sometimes things are funnier when left to the imagination. Yeah, definitely. Everyone's typing "see you in 10 minutes." I didn't notice how many times that came up in the chat before. That's why Rimmer can't get promoted. My brother has a one-eyed cat named Archie. We used to have a one-eyed cat named Luna. Relatable. I say let Kill Crazy and Baxter fight the T-Rex. Good point. Why didn't they just should have just let him do it. Just let Darwinism take its course. No idea why T-Rex had puny arms, but then again, some flightless birds have puny and useless wings. Like the emu. That's a good point. I almost said emo. Yeah, some people... Sorry, bumped it mic again. Yeah, some people think the T-Rex was a scavenger because of its small arms, like it couldn't hunt. But I mean, I think its head and back legs... T-Rex has a really big head with lots of teeth, so I feel like that would have made up for it. They had really powerful hind legs, too. Or at least they look like they do. I don't know. We don't do that here. Those two are best buds now, aren't they? I know, I kind of like it. Pete ate me. He must really be out of sorts. He's never tried to eat me before. That's a cute line. Oh, it's fine, Hershey. I just thought it was... funny. It's not like I've never referenced Nostalgia Critic. I just wouldn't have done it by the time this video came out. Oh, excuse me. Oh my god. Swallowed too much air earlier, I guess. Hi from the other side of the pond. The series was great fun, if only because I love how useful Lister and Goalpost Head are to each other, yet useless to anyone else. That's a good way to describe them in Season 8. So Pete laid an egg by himself. This episode is running on Godzilla 98 logic. Good point. This had to have come out before then, right? I was about to say maybe it's a reference, but this couldn't have come out in 98. Sometime in the 90s, but I'm guessing not that late in the 90s. But I don't know off the top of my head when each season came out, except for like the newer ones. That's a lot of fish. He's so fed up of them, he sent himself into the hole. Does that count as a win? Good point. I wonder how Baxter and Kill Crazy enjoyed the Justice Field. They should have had the T-Rex play basketball. That would have been interesting. I'm not sure how he could have done that with his tiny arms. Just bounce the ball with his head, maybe. Only the Good should have been a two-parter, and you'd think Naylor would have learned to not go over budget after the earlier seasons. I know, right? Jurassic Park references equal Happy Dina. Pretty much, yeah. Massey and Sophia do that a lot, and it's cute as hell. The Howling. Yeah, I just noticed that Kachansky is wearing red again. Yeah, they were all like dressed up. They were all dressed up for that dinner. I remember a cat we had when I was a kid. She lay on her back like that a lot when she was pregnant. Aw. I guess that's probably the most comfortable position to lay in when you're pregnant. Should have had the T-Rex play basketball is what I meant to type. Yeah, I got the gist of what you meant. Is that a meme? If not, it should be. Which thing were you referring to? Crazy Rumor is always a funny image, yeah. Mr. Flibble is very cross. Add people from Essex are the UK's equivalent of Floridians. Okay. I love that the nanobots replicated the dead cow along with everything on board ship. Good point. They were very thorough, weren't they? Most animals eating curry run for the water. I would imagine so. Most animals aren't really equipped to eat spicy food. Also left to the imagination for censorship reasons, yeah. I just don't even want to... I wouldn't even want to see that scene. It's just funnier hearing about it. Despite being British and living up north in my early years, I always associate the name Geordie with Star Trek first and Newcastle second. Interesting. Comes from starting TNG back when I was just 3. Well, that makes sense. Emo emu. The emo would look like Shadow the Hedgehog. I think the small arms are just for making funny gestures, so its potential food doesn't take it seriously as a threat. I like that. Oh, Dina burps and everyone responds to the stream with "Fwah." That's terrible. The Taiwan must have added frog DNA to Pete, allowing him to change gender and find a way in life. There you go. Oh, lay on their backs like Pete did, right. Hi, Marcus. Cats We Are All Gonna Die should be a meme. Oh, okay, yeah. It is a good one. Hi, Mario Brothers fan. I have 69 views. Nice. Yeah, I remember that line for Back to Earth. I don't know if I'm going to get to Back to Earth today. We'll see. No, we can't do that. Who would clean up the mess? Humans aren't equipped to eat spicy food, but we do it anyway. Well, I mean, we kind of probably build up a tolerance to it throughout our lives, whereas animals don't get to do that, really. What have I been up to? Not much. Okay, Hershey, thanks for stopping by. Only the Good. Finishing up season 8. It's rip that Band-Aid off.
We
Excuse
open on
me.
an escape pod, which ends up on Red Dwarf, and something seems to be off about it. Meanwhile, Captain Hollister is sick. I guess this takes place a year after Pete, or I guess he could have let himself out early.
You're hot lemon,
That's
sir.
a good point.
Anyway, Rimmer is back to kissing up to him.
What's this Space Corps free pardon exonerating you of all crimes doing it here?
Oh, that's why.
It's just, if I've got a record, I'll never become an officer and command my own ship. And that's what I long for more than anything, sir, to be like you. Maybe thinner and in better condition. You think I could become an officer, sir? One day, sir?
Look, it gives me no pleasure telling you this, Rimmer, but I'm sorry. You're just not officer material. Redirect your energies and find something that you have a genuine chance of succeeding at.
Yeah, that's never gonna sink in. Anyway, this lady shows up,
Talia?
and of course Rimmer assumes the worst.
The photograph of your wife, sir. Is it okay where it is, or should I turn it so it's facing the wall?
Afterwards, Rimmer tries to cheat one of the vending machines. Boy, he's really at his rimmeriest today.
Alert, alert. A jockey nut bar has been removed without payment.
Okay, I'm not really a Doctor Who fan, but he kind of sounds like one of those Daleks.
Exterminate.
That's probably intentional.
Promise to shut up? Promise. One day, our paths will
Might
cross
not be
again,
intentional,
and
actually.
I will destroy you.
And on that day, I will be the captain of this ship.
Anyway, they're all on probation and have jobs.
You know what they got me doing? I gotta put all the rock albums on the PA system. I gotta change those suckers once every 45 minutes.
Meanwhile, Crichton got a gift for Kachansky.
A calendar? A couple of days ago, she was looking at the old calendar and she said it was the wrong time of the month, so I got her a new one.
So Lister explains what time of the
That's
month
cute.
means in Kachansky's case.
I'll tell you what to do and how to do everything.
Yeah, I'm sure he's only going to give good advice. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, love that visual.
Dave told you to do this, didn't he?
Isn't he wonderful?
Crichton, how can I put this?
He set me up, didn't he? This is absolutely not what you're supposed to do when a woman is having a...
Ah, not the voice again. So anyway, Crichton has a plan to get back at Lister.
Thought you might like to hear some hot off the press confidential insider information. There's going to be a cell inspection in about 10 minutes. Keep it under your hat.
Cell inspection in 10 minutes.
What's the point of having an inspection if they're going to warn them about it first?
As soon as I've got anything else that'll be useful, I'll be back.
See you in about 25 years then.
Anyway, it turns out that Lister has a scar.
Those complimentary pens that the hospital guys were handing out. Most accidents happen in the home, so be careful once. Accidentally stab yourself in the head with one.
And so does Rimmer.
From a fight, years ago. Duel. Not a duel. Duel. The old Steven Spielberg movie. A friend of mine attacked me with a video case.
That is a real scar that Chris Berry doesn't like to talk about, which just makes me more curious about how he got it. The world may never know.
I got him
Yeah.
back though. I peed in his mum's steam mine. He had yellow t-shirts for a week.
Now that's a unique revenge.
Yeah, what the
Anyway,
fuck?
they found a note from Crichton.
Dear Mr. Lister, thanks for your wonderful advice regarding Miss Kachansky. In return, I thought I'd steal Baxter's stash of illegal hooch and hide it in your shower.
Ouch, Crichton. So they've got Baxter's alcohol stash and there's about to be a cell inspection. They can't just dump it down the drain because the tank is full. I have a feeling Crichton somehow planned that. And they've got to hide it somehow, so...
They'll put hairs on your chest.
They'll put hairs on your lips. They'll put hairs on your hairs.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. We already know that Rimmer is a lightweight.
Inspection!
And here comes Ackerman.
On your feet.
Yeah, this takes a while. Yep, they're both pitched. Did they really think he wouldn't be able to smell it?
You're drunk.
Ah, they make cute drunks.
No, sir.
Absolutely not, sir.
Call the Medibay. We need 2 stomach pumps.
Super suck.
Here comes Baxter and he's not happy about his missing hooch.
This.
Was that like you with the absinthe? Not quite.
Way to go, Crichton. Meanwhile, Rimmer and Lister are recovering from having their stomachs pumped. Wow, great disguise, guys. Anyway, now they have to escape. The plan is for all of them to meet up in the hospital and then go to the landing bay and steal a ship.
Where's the cat?
He should be getting himself hospitalized any second.
Cut to one of my favorite cat scenes where he tries to get himself hospitalized by bothering this big scary guy. The credits refer to him as Big Meat, by the way, in hopes that he'll beat him up really bad.
What makes you think you can diss me and live?
From now on, marshmallow ass,
You're my bitch.
Okay.
It doesn't work so well.
I just want to make you happy.
Damn.
So he disguises himself as a nurse. Lister's face says it all. So they make it to the landing bay, but it looks like the microbes from the escape pod from the beginning are corroding the ship.
If we go back now, we've got a chance to make an antidote.
So they cancel their plan to escape and tell Captain Hollister about it.
As you probably know, we don't have enough craft for everyone to be rescued, so most of you will be staying behind to die.
See what I mean about Captain Hollister in Season 8? He's awful. So everyone who can escapes, leaving our 4 main characters on the ship to clean up the mess or find a way out.
That was kind of a neat visual, seeing all the little blue midgets and star bugs leaving Red Dwarf. We've never seen that many at one time.
You can neutralize the corrosive negativity of the microbes. Something with the corrosive positivity. So where did we get that?
A mirror universe.
So they somehow come up with a way to go to a mirror universe where they will be able to find an antidote. And it involves an actual mirror. Why not? Surprisingly, Rimmer goes right in. And then, of course, the machine shorts out and the rest can't follow.
It's overloaded. We've lost Mr. Rimmer.
At last, things are looking up.
And it'll take about 20 minutes to fix it. Meanwhile, Rimmer is now the captain, and Captain Hollister is kissing up to him.
You want to be an officer, don't you, laddie?
Could I? One day, could I be?
No, I don't think you could.
I bet he thought he'd never get the chance to say something like that to Captain Hollister. And that lady comes by again. And remember that assumption that Rimmer made earlier?
But I'm your sister.
Way to go, Rimmer.
Oh my god, what a terrible dream.
Oh, hi sis, it's me, Arnie of Road. Get your big old lumpy bum down here and give us a big hug.
Still wrong.
I am Sister Talia Garrett, your personal spiritual advisor.
I wonder, could you tell me what this is?
You'll need to ask the professor then. He does all that stupid sciencey brain box type stuff.
So because this is a mirror universe, Kachansky is a bimbo instead of...
Do you think you could do boob jobs too?
Yeah, this gag would have worked a lot better before Season 8.
Yup.
Somebody call.
Anyway, the cat
Professor
is a
Cat.
scientist, and that definitely works.
What's this? It's an alkali. Oh yes, what's it called?
Cesium, frankolithic, mixy-albidium, rixy-dixy-doxy-dexy-droxide.
That was amazing.
I never thought I'd ever hear you say that.
How many takes
At
did
one
it
time,
take
the
for
writers
Danny
were gonna
John Jules
make
to
all
get
of
that, I
them say
wonder?
that, so they all had to memorize it. Turned out that only cats made it into the final product.
Can you write it down for me?
Certainly. Can I have an extremely long piece of paper, my dear?
So Rimmer goes back to his own universe, and
Extremely long
everyone
piece
is
of
gone.
paper.
Where's everyone?
They've repaired the machine and crossed into the mirror universe.
Wait, if they're in the mirror universe, why didn't they run into Rimmer there?
You're the highest ranked crew member left on the ships, I suppose. That makes you captain.
Also, the machine is broken again, so he cannot go back into the mirror universe. Also, leaving the mirror universe caused the formula to turn into a formula for the virus, so all of that was utterly pointless.
Smeggy well smeg off, you annoying little smeggy smegging smegger. Every dog has his day. And today's the day.
Also, the vending machine finally gets its revenge.
And I'm the dog.
Cue some sad stock music as the formula catches on fire. Also, literal death shows up. I never thought about it before, but I wonder if this is a result of Rimmer getting hit in the head and hallucinating. Otherwise, this is just really random.
Yeah, good point, actually. I forgot that I suggested that.
Remember what Rimmer said way back in Future Echoes?
You can't whack death on the head. Not today, matey.
But you can kick it in the crotch, apparently.
Remember, only the good die young.
I think Ed Bye was playing Death, if I remember correctly.
It kind of is for a while.
That's director Ed Bye's
So
Death,
ends
yeah.
only the good. This episode is pretty fun. Though I'm not really a fan of how everyone apparently abandons Rimmer at the end with no explanation or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rimmer, and they've joked about doing stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the boys from the Dwarf are supposed to stick together. I guess maybe the plan was to explain what happened in the following episode, but since the show ended up on a decade-long hiatus, Season 9 ended up being kind of a very soft reboot, and they never really directly addressed what happened between seasons 8 and 9, though it's hinted at a bit at the end of season 10. I may end up doing a separate video about that, so I won't have to wait that long before talking about it. But yeah, they really kind of bit themselves in the butt with a cliffhanger this time. This was actually the second version of the ending. The original version had Rimmer going back to the mirror universe to memorize the formula.
Right. Cesium... Hang on.
And that was pretty cute.
Cesium francolithic mixyalbidium rixy-dixy-doxy-dexydroxide.
Yes!
Yes!
Especially since the rest of them knew it and could say it easily.
We used to use it in chemistry all the time. Cesium francolithic mixyalbidium rixy-dixy-doxy-dexydroxide.
That's where everyone else having to learn the word came from.
Let's just make some up and get rid of this microbe, okay? Smart, Alex.
Crichton mixes up the antidote, fixes the ship, and they're back to square one, having the ship to themselves.
The captain and the crew. Shall I program the ship to slow down so they can board?
Definitely like this ending better.
Also, Rimmer gets to stick it to Captain Hollister in a bit of a callback to Tika to Ride.
I owe you this.
And I owe you this.
As is dead.
Then the vending machine gets to stick it to Rimmer, similar to the final ending.
This is the day, and I'm the dog.
I actually like this ending better, but they really wanted to have that cliffhanger, so it's not the one we got. Anyway, congratulations everyone, we finally made it to the end of season 8.
Yay!
I've already talked at length about its flaws, so I don't think I'll go into that again. Though I will reiterate that a lot of the humor works for me, so I find it watchable despite its flaws. Also, we have some great characters who are exclusive to season 8 and are really fun. Mainly Kill Crazy and Ackerman, and Big Meat, even if he just has one scene, it's memorable. And of course, more screen time for
He is really
Hollister
funny.
is always a good thing. I do consider season 8 to be a pretty big dip in the series, and there are issues I have with it, but I don't totally hate it. Next up is Back to Earth. See you then.
Here's my idea.
Cat videos. Alright. Oh my god, how much? Okay. I kind of want to see Rarity's reaction to Hollister's description of Pete's Vindaloo attack. I love spicy food. The spicier, the better. I like some spiciness in my food. I can't handle a whole lot, though. I think I've said this before, but I like Cholula, and I just kind of use like a few drops is usually enough for me, or like a slight drizzle. Spice is plant-kind's way to prevent animals from eating them. Backfired in the case of humans, though. That's so funny. Who told you to end the massage? The king of Rimmer, the king of burying himself in a hole by saying too much. Yep. There was a clip from the Red Dwarf A to Z special on the season 2 DVD where the Daleks were interviewed about Red Dwarf. That sounds cute. Excuse me. The vending machine voice was Tony Slattery. He was also one of the androids from Crichton's soap opera Androids. Have a fantastic period. Says you don't even have to deal with it. I don't know if there is such a thing as a fantastic period. There's tolerable ones, and that's about it. Also, I think Bender did the same trick of a coin on a string. I wouldn't put it past him. I think the banner was nice. It was well-intentioned, for sure. I've seen stuff that'll make your hair stand on end. Brill cream, it's called. Maybe Chris Berry got attacked by a rogue Chris Berry. Was that like you with the absinthe? I reacted to that before, but I don't. When I drink, I don't really drink a lot. I usually just have one glass and that's it. I don't like to get super drunk. I like to get just a little bit of a buzz going, and that's enough for me. I got drunk one time and had a hangover the next day, and I really did not like it. Once was enough for that. I was just about to make a pished comment, but you referenced it anyway. Yeah, same, I think. We need 2 stomach pumps. Super suck. You're gonna squeeze their rolls? That's irritating, but hey, in many ways, they'll be relieved. Cat, even the guys want him. Actually, didn't he say in an earlier episode, like, face it, buddy, I got a body that makes men wet? Should have referenced that. I don't think I thought to do that. The only other thing I've seen Big Meat in is an episode of Doctor Who where he plays a British politician taken over by an alien. By the way, do you guys notice that my lighting is better? Turns out that I think it was the glare from the window, because I always like to have the blinds open. The glare from the window was like causing lighting issues. Because I noticed whenever I turned this way and the back of my chair was blocking it from the camera, it wasn't as bad. So I closed the blinds, which I didn't like to do, but I think it helped. Makes me look better, for lack of a better way of putting it. So with the microbes, does that mean Rimmer accidentally saved Red Dwarf? I guess so. Hollister, fuck y'all, we're out of here. Yeah. In hindsight, they should have gone with the alternate ending. Oh yeah, for sure. That would have been a much better one. And they still could have done the soft reboot, but at least the soft reboot would have made a little more sense. Since they find the shuttles before the new series, that means most of the crew is dead a second time? So if all the starbugs and blue midgets evacuated Red Dwarf, where did the vessels in season 10 and onward come from? Good question! It's almost like they want to pretend season 8 doesn't exist. Could I, sir? Someday? No, I don't think you could. I'd love it if that conversation had taken place between Wesley and Picard. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a possibility. Maybe only the ships that were in really good working order got taken, and they managed to fix the ones that were left. All right, the first cesium Francolithic. Oh, I'm not even gonna try to say that. Yeah, you didn't need to write it Special Iron because Flash did. Professor Cat is adorable. I agree. He's like, he looks nerdy, but he's also kind of charming. So Danny John Jules got that in one take. That's impressive. I never thought I'd ever hear you say that. I'm not kidding, he nailed it in one take. Everyone else for the rest of the episode stumbled over it, and he had the time of his life mocking them. Good for him. I love when Linkara referenced it in one of his videos. Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Rimmer dies again with a bang. Every dog has his day, and today's the day, and I'm the dog. That's a good line. Just got canned. Platoon music? Is that what that was from? I knew I'd heard that music before. I thought it was stock again. What's funny is that Beavis and Butthead did a similar joke about kicking death in the nads. I can believe it. This doesn't have nads, Beavis. Ed Bai was also the voice of the Daleks being interviewed about Red Dwarf. That's interesting. Oh my god. It refreshed and now I've got more chat to read through. Hi, Shamrock Particle. So it stands to reason that Rimmer died and was brought back after Kachansky left, supposing. That could have been how it worked, yeah. Only the Good felt like it had to cut out a lot of the material for the runtime, yeah. I like this ending better too, even if Rimmer kicking death in the nuts is hilarious. Yeah. That's true. We would miss Rimmer kicking death in the nuts, but because ending on a cliffhanger always guarantees a continuation. Isn't that right, Super Mario Brothers movie from 30 years ago? That's so true. I was thinking that was going to happen with the Sonic movie before they redesigned Sonic. The good ending should have been kept. The new series certainly goes with that ending over the broadcast. It seems like it, yeah. I mean, that's one theory. Ain't we great? We got through season 8. Rip that Band-Aid off, Dina. Rip it off with relish. Dina's free. Dina's reaction to seeing how much chat there is. Yeah, it's one of those times where I thought I was caught up and then it loads more. I like my spice to be subtle as well, yeah. Tongue massage, very exotic. What? Oh, the broadcast ending of Only the Good exists to tease a movie that never got made and cost us 10 years. Oh, yeah, good point. That probably was going to be resolved in the movie. Not to rub it in, but I'm glad I don't have to experience periods. Yeah, they are no fun. Hi, John. I believe the majority of people here are from the UK. I don't know if they're like a strong majority, but I do think they're the majority. Have a tolerable period doesn't have the same ring to it, though. That's true. Dina and the sun, so bright. Noodles are straight until wet. What? So it took Janny John Jules one take to say that, and everyone else stumbled over it, so he had a blast teasing them. Yeah, that message did go through before. Very brave of you to shut your blinds. We honor your sacrifice and won't let it be in vain. I just like getting the extra light, and I'm kind of picky. First thing I do when I get up in the morning is open the blinds, and, well, not necessarily the first thing I do. I wait until it's lighter outside than it is in here. And then as soon as it starts to get dark outside, I close them, but I try to keep them open all day. But it turns out he was holding the wrong prop. It was black powder instead of white. Instead of making him do another take, they CGI'd the powder to be the right color. That's good that he didn't have to do it again. Hi, Sod. At least the Enterprise has an excuse for how they kept getting shuttles despite losing so many. They can restock at star bases, yeah. Maybe Crichton has been doing more than just cleaning Red Dwarf. That's, yeah. Excuse me, damn. Where do they get the replacement shuttles? The same place the Enterprise gets all their ensigns. Sorry. I keep feeling that I have to burp, but it's not I think it's heartburn again. I'm actually taking medication for my heartburn now, but it doesn't seem to be helping, at least not as much as I'd like. I think maybe it's not as bad as it was, though. Red shirt ensigns, to be more precise. Yeah, I figured that was what you meant. Still holding on to the idea that the next Sonic movie will be a two-parter. That'd be interesting. Sonic got to come out on top with less controversial voice cast than a certain other video game movie to boot. I'm Australian, but we love us some Red Dwarf down under. Well, it's a Red Dwarf stream, and Red Dwarf is a British show, so chances are British viewers are high. They could get the nanobots to make more shuttles. That's true. I took medicine for acid reflux when I swallowed a pill from the wrong pipe. What? Oh, swallowed a pill down the wrong pipe. I see what you mean. I just think it's too early to bring Shadow into the films, but I reserve judgment. The filmmakers have proven they know what they're doing. Yeah, they could maybe make it work. Doesn't Star Trek Prodigy show shuttles being made in a replicator? I was wondering if they could use a replicator, but I don't know if they can replicate anything that big. I haven't seen Prodigy, so... Okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick, and then I'm going to get some water from the refrigerator. Don't want that to come out wrong, and I'll be back in a second. I brought walnuts because I'm also getting hungry. Shut up, phone. My the connector is starting to give out. And it makes the disconnect reconnect noise over and over. Chair watch. The Prodigy had a shuttle bay-sized replicator to make shuttles. Wow. I'm excited for the Mario movie. Controversies be damned. It does look like at least pretty good. I'm not going to say it looks great because I don't know that we've seen enough, but At least visually it seems to look really good. I figured there's some automatic fabrication somewhere in the ship. It makes sense as they'd been months out in the solar system while mining and might not be able to get replacement parts. That makes sense. I assumed Sonic CD would have been the Sonic 3 movie, but then 2 combines 2, 3, and Knuckles together into one story. It's true. Chair Sama. Imagine if the third movie is called And Knuckles. What's long and sticky? A stick. Whoops. I was halfway up a mountain and some bloke started attacking me. I said, "What's your problem?" He said, "I don't like your altitude." Ugh. In the meantime, the second Sonic movie spawned a whole new genre of fan fiction with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles as adopted brothers living with Tom and Maddie. That sounds so cute. I hope they have a lot of fun with that in the next movie. Sounds like the guy was high. Walnuts are okay. Usually, my go-to streaming snack used to be walnuts and dates, but I'm out of dates, so it's just walnuts now. Walnuts make me think of A Room with the Moose. Same. Oh yeah, I forgot that Jack Black was doing Bowser. Yeah, he sounds really good. I'm just ignoring all of Special Iron's dad jokes. Knuckles is obsessed with grapes and refers to Tom and Maddie as Lord and Lady Donut. Tails will have issues from his past. Sonic will be excited to have friends, and there may or may not be romance. Metal Sonic, that would be neat. Actually, they should have done Metal Sonic before Shadow, but whatever. Hi, Cinematic Sith. They all play baseball. Yeah, that's cute. Mario just doesn't have enough plot to make a movie out of, to me, but I reserve judgment. Yeah, same. Or if they'll do the occasional thing where Eggman has to team up with Sonic to fight a bigger enemy. That would be interesting, too. Sonic 2, the movie, left me more curious about how things turned out with Maddie's sister. Yeah, good point. Dina and Special Iron are dreading Amy's appearance. Yeah, anyway, cat videos. Again, we'll watch the opening once. Whenever you're around, girl. Song's catchy. How long is the cat opening? Yeah, about 22 seconds.
Welcome back to the series where we overanalyze a character who is deep as a puddle. In all seriousness, it was actually kind of fun taking a detailed look at Cat of all characters and just seeing how much he grew during the first 5 seasons. In seasons 1 and 2, he was basically a cartoon cat in a human suit, though in the latter he was gradually becoming a member of the crew, even if he didn't do a whole lot. In season 3, he starts piloting spaceships, a little anyway,
Do you know
and is
the
able to
future's
use it as
past?
a toy. Meanwhile, he kind of gradually sheds his indifference toward the rest of the crew.
Face
well,
cam
Rimmer
treatment.
excluded because it's Rimmer. And by season 6, he becomes a fairly well-rounded character. By the way, from here on out, the videos are probably going to be a lot shorter than that first batch. Since Cat kind of reaches an apex in season 6 before he regresses a little, then kind of stays there. Also, his wardrobe gets pared down to about 1 suit per episode.
Oh, yeah.
And even then, it's mainly just the jacket and accessories that change. But I'll go into that more later. Another characteristic in the beginning is that despite Cat looking human, he kind of acted as Lister's pet, and Lister responded in kind. They had a pretty amusing dynamic, but like everything else, that evolved over time. And at this point, Cat is really more like Lister's little brother. Lister's
really
kind
is.
of protective of him despite finding him annoying at times. Again, that's just cute. In fact,
About
one example
that.
that I kind of forgot to point out last time was in Quarantine, when after talking to Rimmer, Cat gets upset and lunges at him. Lister holds him back and then just kind of keeps his arm around him for the rest of the conversation. I love little details like that to show how close they are. Anyway, on to season 6.
Besides, the cat is invited to join him in the weekly crap game tonight.
He's gonna be the dice.
It's revealed in
He looks so
Sirens
cute in
that
season
not only
6.
is Cat a regular pilot now, but Crichton even vouches for him.
I recommend the cat pilots with his superior reflexes and nasal intuition that will give us our best
Nasal
chance.
intuition.
And also, smell things coming through space.
Something's coming. I can smell it. Something big.
I'm pretty sure that's exclusive to season 6. I've
How
heard
does
people
something
try to
smell big?
justify it as an unidentified sixth sense that's referenced metaphorically by a primary sense. There's actually some interesting speculation on TV tropes about it.
Fun fact, the person who actually wrote this TV Tropes article commented on the video. Thought that was interesting. The small internet.
You can pause here and read it if you want. But honestly, I think it's just one of those silly things the writers added just to be cute. I mean, I could see Cat calling it that because he doesn't know any better, but even Crichton mentions that it's a sense of smell with no indication that that's some kind of metaphor, and Crichton is the sort of character who would take things more literally. Anyway, Cat is definitely useful now, and they even added a silly little twist to make it kind of fun. This is also where the wise old Cat sayings and proverbs becomes a running joke.
There's an old cat proverb. It's better to live 1 hour as a tiger than a whole lifetime as a worm.
It's not the first time he said one, but season 6 is where it definitely becomes a thing. I actually unironically like some of these. A lot of them are about taking chances and such. They're worded in kind of a silly way because they're from a cat's perspective, but in spirit, some of them aren't bad mantras to have.
If you're gonna eat tuna, expect bones.
There's an old human saying, if you're gonna talk garbage, expect pain.
Oh, and some of them are followed by Rimmer getting back at him with a fake human proverb.
There's an old human proverb. Whoever heard of a wormskin rug?
Speaking of running jokes, Cat has yet another one. Face it, we're deader than insert outdated fashion here.
Face it, we're deader than corduroy. That's it. We're deader than tank tops. Our entire panel's deader than A-line flares with pockets in the knees.
Pockets in the knees?
Cat's love of fashion combined with clever one-liners. It's just perfect season 6 dialogue for him. And back to Cat's piloting skills. He even manages to spout some minor technobabble.
Engaging reheat. I'm starting the engines. Now they come locked. Entering atmosphere. Storm front ahead. Switching to manual.
Nowhere near the level of Geordie LaForge, of course, but
Speak of the devil.
this is the guy who didn't even recognize his own shadow the first time we saw him, so it's still pretty impressive.
Deader than Ugg
By
boots.
the way, totally unrelated to the cat, but here's a hilarious bit that I missed when I originally covered this episode. When the
Here we
red
go.
is splashed on the screen, if you really listen, the guy is saying, "You squeezed all the ketchup out of me burger."
Squeezed all the ketchup out of my burger.
I think it's one of those things
That's
you
so
don't
funny.
catch unless you know to listen for it.
Incoming message.
But yeah, for all Cat has come up, we still get Cat as dumb gags.
We need males to spread their seed amongst our number.
They want seed spreaders. I'm gonna apply. You guys deal with the siren thing. I'll deal with this.
Honestly, I like him being a contradiction like that. To paraphrase what I said in the very first video, cats are walking contradictions that can be smart and stupid all at the same time. His season 1 iteration was fun, but looking back, it's very one note. Now he has a little more dimension.
Call me paranoid, but you don't think they would these siren dude things, do you?
Also, he does at least have enough awareness to second guess
I need
himself.
any more of
That's
these
definitely
walnuts.
something that wouldn't have happened even just a couple seasons ago.
More trouble than heading straight for us.
It always tickles me a little when these two get this close. It may just be a cultural thing, but I'm not used to seeing straight guys doing that. Anyway, Cat's sense of smell comes into play here because there's a flaming meteor heading towards Starbug, and Crichton knows it's an illusion partly because Cat doesn't smell anything. But then another one shows up, and this one is real because it damages Starbug. I wonder why Cat didn't smell this one coming, or at least there was no mention of it. Another really cute running gag is that Lister will occasionally say something totally outlandish just to see if Cat will buy it.
The only thing that always survives intact is a cute little dog. So they made Starbug out of the same stuff.
And he always does.
Cat, you're so gullible. Thanks.
But yeah, Cat is still the one wielding the bazooka.
Ah, smug mode.
Granted, Crichton has a gun too, but it's less impressive looking. Either way, when the siren disguised as Lister is able to play the guitar really well, they don't hesitate to shoot it.
How did you know that wasn't me? Because that dude could play.
And after the real Lister plays his guitar, Cat is tempted to shoot him as well.
Little survival tip, bud. Never play your guitar in front of a man with a loaded gun.
There's even a Lister and Cat are dumb gag where they approach an out-of-place vending machine that turns out to be a siren. And after it knocks them out, it's trying to decide which brain to eat first and doesn't seem too enthusiastic about either.
And you are the cat.
You come anywhere near me, buddy, you be wearing them bowels as a bubble hat.
Apparently at nighttime, Lister and Cat take turns piloting Starbug, and one of the first scenes in Legion involves Cat about to take his turn, and he complains about Lister leaving the area so messy.
Peanuts?
No, I've been trimming my verrucas.
So Lister uses the opportunity to mess with him some more.
You really think I'm psychotically disgusting, don't you? The peanuts, okay?
Where'd you get them?
Got it a couple of months back. Found them in the dead captain's old donkey jacket. You enjoyed that mint imperial, didn't you?
And where'd you get that?
He was sucking that when he got shot.
But Cat does catch on. Sort of.
Get out of here! I gotta keep my eyes skinned for that asteroid shaped like a dancing moose you told me about yesterday.
So while Cat can pilot Starbug and knows some technical terms, he still doesn't know what to call unidentified objects in space.
All hands on deck, swirly thing alert!
Back to Cat's ability to smell things coming. He's got some pride regarding that and doesn't like to be questioned.
Sir, is it possible you could have made a missmelling?
Listen, Butterpet Head.
I love this bit where Crichton thinks he misidentified something.
Excuse me.
I'm telling you, there's something out there.
No one's questioning your nasal integrity?
Here's a very subtle thing
Nasal
that I think
integrity?
is cute and goes with my earlier observations about Cat and Crichton getting along well. They're about to board Legion space station. Crichton stands by the door and lets everyone go first, and Cat gives a polite nod as he walks by. It's very elegant. Afterwards, Cat senses Legion's presence as he's forming, and he alerts the others. A little later, they're all trying to impress Legion, and Cat has some cute lines that aren't very helpful.
Many's the night we while away the wee hours contemplating a Caravaggio. The point-and-stick game doesn't get a look in anymore.
We use it all the time.
Can't even remember what a fork looks like.
Meanwhile, he still has trouble with some technical jargon.
Simply invert the ionic phase in the down pulse of the field margin.
I was with you all the way up to simply.
Like I've said, these two are way too close.
Caviar nibbling.
And again, Cat is still kind of dumb in a way.
There's just one thing that still baffles me.
What's that?
Everything.
They discover that Legion is an amalgam of all of their personalities and...
So if he's us, he can't hurt us, right?
So to fight Legion, Crichton needs to knock all of them unconscious. Cat is fine with it on one condition.
Permission to lay you out, sir. Do what you gotta, but don't mess up my head.
Kind of weird that he doesn't consider that he could get a black eye or other bruising from it. That'd take a lot longer to fix than messed up hair. Also, we get one of those classic fallovers where he goes stiff as a board. There's also kind of a fun visual at the end where a hole gets blown in Starbug, and they're all trying not to get sucked out into space, and Cat just kind of rolls by.
They believe you to be the vermin of the universe, sir.
Permission to lay you out, sir.
Here comes Gunmen of the Apocalypse.
Woo!
Starbug is running on limited power, so they're relying on Cat's nose.
Stay alert.
Okay, bud, I'll keep my nose peeled.
A little later, Lister wants to fool the simulants into thinking there's no humans or humanoids on board the ship, so he comes up with this ingenious disguise.
Is that not right, Bindi Batty?
Which looks especially weird on Cat.
How's it going, bud?
This next bit isn't exactly an old Cat proverb, but he does use a very feline way of thinking, and I kind of love it.
It's called cat and
Oh,
mouse.
yeah, this one.
There's only one way to win. Don't be the mouse. I'm saying the mouse never wins. Not unless you believe those lying cartoons.
Yeah, as much as I love Tom and Jerry, I can't blame Cat for finding it offensive. For what it's worth, my favorites were always the ones where Tom wins. They're few and far
Love this.
between, but so satisfying.
Such an own.
Anyway, Lister likes his plan.
Might be my favorite visual from Tom and Jerry ever.
What happens if we all get killed? I'll never hear the last of it.
After seeing that Crichton isn't doing
Hi,
too
Query.
well fighting the virus, Cat wants to help him, and he has an idea which he expresses in a silly way, but it's actually a pretty sound concept.
Somehow turn ourselves into tiny electronic people and get into his dream? And if not, why not?
If not, why not?
I quote it all the time. But
Yep,
again,
I
Lister
used
thinks
to.
he's onto something.
Twice in one lifetime? When you're hot, you're hot.
They can use the
Little
AR
dance.
to hack into Crichton's subconscious and help him out. These are the best Cat moments in all of Red Dwarf, and probably some of the best moments overall. Everyone talks about how he hams it up, and that's amazing, but I also like how committed he is to being in character with all the little things he says with a Mexican accent.
Señorita, tres tequila, por favor.
He means 3 shots of gulping whiskey, man.
See.
I was expecting something with a little more kick to it.
Vamos, muchachos.
Either way, here's his big moment.
They call me the key. The Riviera key.
Where he shoots the enemy's bullets out of the air. By the way, they used a special effect for the gun twirling in the end, but Danny said in the making of documentary that he learned to twirl the guns anyway.
You know, Sammy Davis Jr. used to do it in his act. Sammy Davis does all this stuff, and he's singing da 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 and he's doing his tricks, and he goes, well, I wouldn't wear them if I couldn't use them.
So I guess that's another ability of his to add to the list, along with dancing, juggling, roller skating, singing, and riding a unicycle. This list is getting long. Also, Danny had a suggestion regarding the Riviera Kid's little catchphrase, but it went unused.
I actually wanted, every time he did the Riviera Kid, that he'd go, the Riviera Kid, and then the guitar would fly in and he'd catch it. Dun, 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 boom. You know, and that's what I really wanted to do, and I forgot to ask Doug.
That would have been
Here's
cute.
another great moment. They need to stop Crichton from running away, and he's got a big lead on them, so Cat saves them some time. Once again, Cat is reasonably smart in Season 6. After getting Crichton's guns back, he notices that there's nowhere for the bullets to go, and there are doves carved into the handles. So they symbolize the dove program Crichton is trying to create. Okay, he doesn't say that second part, but it's implied that he made the connection. Cat's also the one being the lookout while the other two help Crichton get his memory back. If there's anyone who would be able to tell when someone's coming, it'd be the one with heightened senses. So the special abilities they had in the game get taken away, but it takes them a minute to notice. Danny also said that those guns were really heavy.
Real Colt 45s that weigh in excess, I don't know, between a bag of sugar on each finger. And that's how heavy they were.
I still think Cat trying to pull Lister's headset off while they're in the game looks hilarious.
Not gonna make it.
When I originally covered this episode, I pointed out how great it was that the writers weren't afraid to let the characters grow and show how they're doing pretty well for themselves, all things considered. And it's especially evident with the cat.
It's got an ocean. Can you get us there? Does mouse shit roll? I'll get you there, bud.
I'll get you there, bud.
Emo Hawk starts with Rimmer trying to get Lister and Cat to do a drill, and they react about as much as you'd expect. By the way, I seriously doubt that Lister and Cat share a room. I'm pretty sure this is just a case of Cat napping in the spare bunk. Anyway, they don't show up in the cockpit until over an hour later as an extra little fuck you to Rimmer. Rimmer talks about how he wants things to be more military-like and gets on the subject of haircuts, and this little gem happens.
Would it harm you to have hair like mine?
I have got hair like yours, just not on my head.
Crichton and Rimmer's reactions are gold. I love this bit where Rimmer asks for a damage report and Cat reads a bunch of stuff off the monitor that you'd only have to look around to notice.
There are several small fires in the cockpit, lots of smoke, and the net becomes fizzing. Now the damage report machine's exploded.
At least Mr. Lister's guitar survived intact.
Also, Cat really doesn't like Lister's guitar playing.
Not even Mr. Lister's guitar survived intact.
So there are some moments in Season 6 and 7 where Cat sounds like he's saying something smart.
It can tell us a whole heck of a lot about what we're dealing with here. Yep, this came from a boar, right?
He blows it.
I was expecting to get a lot more than that.
Once again, Cat has a plan that they end up going with.
We do the trade.
Oh, Mr.
You go through
Guitar,
with the
you're
wedding,
a sad
when
little
everybody's
thing.
asleep, we come back and rescue you.
So that's 3 times in one lifetime, though Lister ends up blowing it later. After the Gelfs send the Emo Hawk after them, Cat is on the lookout for it.
It's a stick! No, it's not. Oh my god, I'm so jumpy. I thought it was a stick.
Yes, it was. Anyway, the Emo Hawk sneaks onto the ship. Cat is still smelling it and thinks he just needs to wash his hands. Gotta love the cat-like way he sneaks around while looking for it.
That is pretty cute. I get a good shot of his eye makeup there.
So yeah, Dwayne Dibley is back, and Cat is not happy about it.
Dwayne Dibley!
Can you smell it?
The only scent I'm getting is extra strong spot cream, and the damn shampoo doesn't work.
Interesting to note that Cat loses his sense of smell when he's Dwayne. Also seeing Dwayne Dibley wear Cat's clothes looks really odd. Almost like someone switched the cat's head with that of the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot else to say about Dwayne Dibley that I didn't already say when I covered Back to Reality. Except that he gets a lot more to work with here, and he is pretty funny. Also, I'll just mention this here since I don't think there's much point in talking about Can't Smeg, Won't Smeg again here, since Cat was barely in it, and it's a Dwayne Dibley thing. Holy crap, Danny is a freaking pro at chopping vegetables. I guess we can add that to the list. Along with dancing, juggling, roller skating, singing, riding a unicycle, and gun twirling.
One of the suckers bumps into me, he'll be lunching on later. Last time we met, I was wearing the same outfit, and no one's gonna survive to tell that story.
I love that line.
World has another scene that shows how Lister is protective of Cat.
She didn't want to say in front of the cat. Reserve fuel tank got punctured.
And Cat's still oblivious. That's cute. Also, Cat is wearing the same outfit here that he wore in the non-Western scenes in Gunmen of the Apocalypse.
And although it looks like I'm wearing the same outfit today,
Lister's face.
Different cute little black number with completely different gold spangle.
I love that look on Lister's face, like, stop embarrassing us in front of the simulant. That's the last thing Cat says in this conversation, but he kind of silently backs up Lister, and his expressions are great, especially here.
Far as psychotic, deranged, ruthless killer simulants go, you're a bit of a babe. What are you doing tonight?
There's a 20% chance you'll be turned inside out when you materialize.
Let me check my lining. Innards and lavender. I can carry that off.
Here's one of those minor details that I like to notice. Crichton takes them back in time by a few days on accident, and while Crichton talks to himself, that version of Cat just kind of picks at his clothes the whole time. I don't know, it's just one of those little things that amuses me. Anyway, they get separated from Rimmer, and Cat takes that about as well as you'd expect.
All in all, 100% successful trip.
Sir, we lost Mr. Rimmer.
All in all, 100% successful.
He's really got it in for Rimmer in this one. Really, they all do, though.
We could try and bring you down with a round from the laser cannon, sir.
Form an orderly queue behind the gun sight.
Isn't there some sort of time dilation problem when you go through a wormhole?
The funny part is that it'll only be a few days without Rimmer for them, no matter what the time dilation on the other side is.
600 years?
Pinch me.
Cat just wants him to suffer.
There's an old cat saying, but you don't want to hear it right now.
He's gone.
So what do we do now?
Nothing we can do. I know for a fact there's no champagne.
That smile, though.
Nasal alert. What, you getting something? I sure am. My nasal hairs are quivering like an opera singer's bosom on the high notes.
Once again, Cat's sense of smell comes in handy. I would imagine that Rimmer has no smell since he's a hologram, unless maybe his light bee smells like metal or something. But either way, he wouldn't smell like a human to Cat. So Cat can tell that none of these guys,
That ain't Gobo's head. He doesn't smell right.
including the one with the H on his forehead, is the real Rimmer.
Smell checks out. That truly is old toilet brush hair himself.
Heh, toilet brush hair. Not quite as funny as Grand Canyon or Trans Am Wheel Arch nostrils, but that's pretty good.
Can you imagine a society composed entirely of me?
The last time I did that, it took me a week to dry the mattress.
And there's another brown trousers comment.
Look, bud, I can understand them locking you up, but what do they got against me, Derek, and Titan?
And once again, Lister looks at him like, really?
Well, fun though it's been hearing about your last 500 years of total misery.
See?
For me, I thought you were gonna let slip that he spends the next 557 years locked in a dungeon.
Seriously.
Don't worry, bud. If there's anything out there, we'll spot it.
Anybody hurt?
Well, my pride sure needs mouth to mouth.
And as for the cat, what an unbelievable git.
I don't know why, but the vagueness of his criticism of Cat after all he goes
What's an
into
unbelievable
Lister
git?
tickles me for some reason. So we're up to Out of Time now, where they start running into unreality pockets.
Oh, we're getting to the end of
first one
season
causes
6.
Lister to appear to be an android. Cat doesn't buy it at first.
This doesn't tie up. If he wasn't human, I would have known by his scent.
But for some reason, they all just kind of brush that aside, including Cat.
You think he knows?
He is surprisingly considerate in regards to Lister's feelings, though.
This is gonna crack him up. Devastating. Who's gonna tell him?
For the moment. Here's a quick little thing that's kind of weird to me. Rimmer snaps his fingers and points toward the
Oh, yeah.
cockpit, and Cat just follows. Only a couple seasons ago, he refused to follow Rimmer's orders out of spite. Of course, that was right after Rimmer was an asshole to Crichton, so that was probably the main reason. Cat doesn't say much during the scene where Crichton is giving Lister orders, but he's really amused about it and his reactions are cute. Yeah, so much for considering Lister's feelings. That didn't last long.
Cameras are out, and my smell range is practically zero.
I love that he can't smell through the fog. That makes a lot of sense. But then they hit another
Your smell
unreality
range is
pocket,
practically zero.
Where's the cat? I'm here.
It's taken the cat, he's gone.
where suddenly Cat doesn't exist to anyone else.
We're passing through an unreality pocket and everything's normal.
What do you mean everything's normal? I've been invisible.
I love I've been invisible.
Hey, Buds, don't do this to me. You can't forget me. I'm unforgettable.
Can you imagine being someone like Cat and having this happen to you? It must be his worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Can you see me?
Of course I can see you.
You all forgot who I was, don't you remember?
Anyway, they get put in deep sleep for a bit, and once they're brought out of it, I like how you can see Cat in the background sleeping in.
Some kind of transport vehicle, colour green, life forms 4, craft name Starbuck.
Call me crazy, but that all sounds weirdly familiar.
Yeah, he's still kind of dumb.
So am I actually gonna get to meet me? My knees have turned to jelly.
Later on, Lister is trying to look at his future self through a camera, and naturally, Cat is dying to know what his future self looks like.
That is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. What happened to my butt?
Be careful what you wish for, kitty.
Buddy, you could park a plane in that crease.
Yeah, just like Rimmer, future Cat is fat and bald and looks about 50 years older than he actually is. And his personality is just as ugly.
Shooting us would be like killing himself in the future. He won't do it.
Not only that, but when the future dwarfers talk about using the time drive to go all over history to socialize with some of the most notorious figures in history, he's the one to mention the most infamous by name.
I think they're our favorite hosts, if you don't count the Hitlers.
Oof.
Better dead than sofa-sized butt.
So when their future
A
selves
random
are
squad
attacking
gaming.
him, they fight back and it doesn't go too well. Again, Cat's actually concerned about Lister.
Is he okay?
But his death barely has time to register before... Oh, not cool, Red Dwarf. Why did you do that to me? So that's Cat from Season 6. A lot of what I said about his Season 5 iteration applies here, only he's kind of leveled up as a pilot.
Still want to
He
see
seems
the
quite a
dinners with the
bit smarter
Hitlers.
and more thoughtful, but he still has plenty of shallow and dumb moments too. And like I said then, I love it when he's a contradiction like that. It's hard to pick a favorite iteration of Cat because he changes so much and each has its ups and downs, but Season 6 just might be my favorite. I also love his look for this season. It's probably the one where his makeup is the most consistent, though it's still not totally consistent, but it's fairly minimal. There's always eyeliner with little wings. It's pretty subtle, but it's there just enough to be seen. And sometimes there's brown lipstick. He doesn't look particularly made up. It's not too noticeable unless you're looking for it, but it gives him a very polished and cat-like look without being super obvious about it, and I totally dig that. Again, my headcanon is that Cat does not wear makeup. This is just how he looks.
You see Dinner with the Hitler
I
in season
especially
10.
like
Well,
his
that's
hair
true.
this season. It's pulled back into a ponytail with barely any fullness to it, and the ponytail is long and forms a cute little tight curl at the bottom. Honestly, Danny has such a slim build that I think this hairstyle is the most flattering. As for the outfits, we've now entered Cat's black vinyl phase. To cut costs this season, there is a constant to Cat's outfits, where they're all built onto the same shirt and pants, and mostly just the jacket and accessories change. The pants are quilted black vinyl leggings, and the shirt is a form-fitting black vinyl turtleneck. Also, usually the Cat belt is involved. Despite the lack of variety, this is what I consider Cat's most iconic look, since he has it for 2 seasons
Yeah.
and part of the 2 following seasons, though I'm probably the minority there. Again, this is probably going to be a short segment. In Sirens, he's wearing a peach-colored waist-length jacket that appears to be covered in sequins. It's got black quilted vinyl lapels and black bands with buckles that look a little like belts on the wrists. And it's paired with a gold heart pendant and a black vinyl belt. Not the Cat belt this time. In Legion, this'll be quick. It's the exact same pink tunic from Camille with possibly a different
Short
necklace,
segment.
though still a silver heart pendant. And again with the Cat belt. He's also wearing black gloves with it. I actually like how simple and sleek it looks. In Gunmen of the Apocalypse, he starts off wearing...
Cute little black one with peach trim and gold spangles.
Yeah, that. But basically it's a waist-length black leather jacket. Honestly, the trim looks more red to me, but I guess it's the lighting. It also has large black jeweled buttons. Definitely no accessories needed for this one. Honestly, this is another one that looks almost Star Trek-y to me, or it would if not for the flashy buttons. As for the Riviera Kid costume, as great as it looks, I don't actually have that much to say about it. It's actually a fairly typical mariachi outfit. They tend to be very ornamental with a lot of lacy designs. His is just kind of on the higher
He's got a
end.
lot of chat to catch up
Only
with.
difference
Yeah.
seems to be that the pants are very, very tight. It's possible that the outfit was a little too small for him. In the making of documentary, the costume guy said that when it came in, they thought it looked
Not that
tiny
I'm
and there
complaining
was
about
no
the
way it
tight
would
pants.
fit him until he tried it on.
We put it in to his trailer, and he put it on and came out, and it's the best thing that's ever fitted him.
Either way, it works in his favor because he looks fantastic in it. I love his outfit in Emo Hawk. It's a blazer with wide red and blue stripes separated by thin white stripes, paired with a satin vest with blue, red, and yellow stripes. One of those cases where it'd be too loud if not for all the black balancing it out. In Rimmerworld,
It is in fact an black number with completely different gold spangles.
yeah, same outfit as the first half of Gunmen of the Apocalypse. At least they acknowledge it.
Yeah, I do like that
For the
they
most part,
acknowledge
I
it
like
and even
what he
make a
wears
joke
now
out of
at
it.
the time. A leather blazer that is mostly peach with a large blue and black checkerboard pattern. The only thing I don't like is the fringe. I've never been a fan of fringe on leather jackets, but that's
Oh yeah,
just
that was
personal
11,
taste.
wasn't it? Not 10.
It's not like it doesn't suit him or anything. Future Cat appears to be wearing a black vinyl bodysuit. Oh, sweetie, you don't have the body to pull that off anymore. With what looks like the red plaid jacket.
Oh no, I body shamed old cat.
That's about all I have to say about the cat in season 6. Next up is season 7, which includes an unmade cat episode called Identity Within, and I'll be devoting the next video to that. See you then.
How about 1422? How about 1421? What's the difference? No difference. I just wanted to make it look like I was paying attention.
Oh, now they have to.
Whoops. Again, I guess I must have watched some of that at some point. There we go. Okay, time to get caught up on the chat. Yeah, Tongue Tied's a good song. Dina's a future past? What? I'm skipping over a little of the Sonic talk because it was from like 30 minutes ago. Probably nobody cares about it anymore. In fairness, cats have been known to be protective of their humans, yeah. How does cat smell anything through space? Well, like I said, somebody had a theory about it on TV Tropes if you want to look it up. Well, space doesn't have air, plus he's inside a ship, so how is he smelling through the walls? Wow, I didn't think anyone liked Big the Cat. I think even John St. John doesn't like him. Sonic and Tails got their own section on Sonic Movie 2's Heartwarming Moments page. I can believe it. Wide Web. Series 6 has a lot of great running gags. Yeah, it does. I don't know if they needed to keep the Two Minor Drawbacks running gag going. I feel like that one kind of had its day. Well, there's two people who like Big the Cat. I missed the ketchup burger line the first couple times. The laughter almost buries it. Yeah, somebody mentioned in the comment section of that episode. So, I didn't know about it until then. Everyone's saying smug mode, even though that clip wasn't even in this video. I guess it's just more normal for guys to get close in the UK. I don't know. I mean, that was... Could be. I want to see that dancing moose-shaped asteroid as well. That makes me think of a room from the room with the moose, actually. I can see Rarity meeting Cat. Darling, your coiffure is simply divine. I think that's pretty much. I think that's pretty accurate. How'd you land the damn stuff? Oh, what was that? Oh, thank you, Pajama Critic. No, I've been quiet this week, but just wanted to let you know I was paying attention. Well, that's the best way to let me know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Often fatal Mercurian boomerang spoon. Often fatal. That's such a good line. Gotta fill out the Hoye page on TV Tropes somehow. Yeah, I like the set on Starbug, the cockpit. Drives me crazy in season 10 when Rimmer and Kat switch seats. I think they switch it back afterwards though, so maybe I wasn't alone there. It is satisfying when Tom gets to beat Jerry every now and then, yeah. Of course, Dina would be on the cat side. Yup. Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted Tom to win more. Of course, as an adult, I can kind of see more how Tom is sort of the bad guy, but it just depends on how you look at it. And it depends on what genre, what era of Tom and Jerry you're watching, too. Sometimes Jerry can be a bigger asshole than Tom. Sorry, bumped the mic again. So I went to Ant-Man yesterday. It was wonderful. I think Kang might be my new favorite villain. He reminds me of Darth Vader. That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard kind of mixed reviews about Ant-Man, but since I like the first two movies so much, I figure I'll probably like this one too. He shot Yo dang bullets out of the air. Four out of 10 with the singing, whatever. Is Spanish guitar part of Danny's talents? Good question. I don't know. They don't really go into that. He didn't mention knowing how to play the guitar. It could have been that he was just gonna, fake it. So it makes sense to not include that one. Would have loved to have seen the gag of him catching guitar. Yeah, I've done right. That could have been really cute. Danny couldn't think of the math, so he did a comparison instead. That was kind of cute. I remember reading in The Dark Tower that the gunslinger's guns were pretty heavy. And they were weighed to his hand specifically. That sounds about right. Weren't they made from Excalibur? I mean, I think they called it something else, but the implication was that it was Excalibur. Like they melted down Excalibur and made the gunslinger's guns out of it. It's kind of ridiculous and awesome at the same time. Not even Mr. LaForge's mandolin survived intact. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, Worf did do exactly the same thing, didn't he? My cat doesn't like me playing guitar either. First degree guitar aside. Either that or the spot cream and dandruff shampoo was overwhelmingly strong. Yeah, that's true. That could have been it also. He really is like a different person as Dwayne, yeah. I kind of like that. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm reminded of the way my parents' cat Missy will sniff around the top of the coffee table and looking for a toy that she batted somewhere. Yeah, he was looking like that. Danny was an absolute joy on Can't Smeg. Yeah, he was. That was an important speech, sir, and it needed to be made. Might I suggest, however, that the rest of this discourse continued by those with brains larger than a grape. Yeah, the 4 eyebrows on the simulants was a neat detail. Several Christmases in a row came early for Cat when Rimmer disappears. That's so true. The champagne was recycled. I hope not. Excuse me. Oh yeah, Linkara has used that clip before, the 100% successful trip. Isn't a bosom meant to be on a ship? I'm not sure what part of a ship you're thinking of. My pride sure needs mouth to mouth. Self, 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 self. I remember that line. Cat's actually hilarious. That's actually hilarious when attention whores become invisible. That's another character in the thing I'm doing. Snobby popular girl becomes invisible. That is a pretty funny trope. Cat, I am hilarious and you will quote everything I say. Pretty much. What happened to my butt? You can park a plane in that crease. I want to see the dinners with the Hitlers. Season 6 did badass Cat up quite a bit. Yeah, I like that. I wish he'd stayed that way. Still like him, but I definitely miss the badassness. Find it strange why Lister is so worried about him despite potentially dead and out of time. Despite being potentially dead and out of time when he says himself there for life. Oh, I see what you mean. That's right, it was season 12 with Hitler. That's right, yeah, it was one of the few season 12 episodes that was really good. Tina's got a lot of chat to catch up with. Yeah, I still do. Tina's got the old male gaze going on. More like female gaze. Old Cat is still pretty cute. A good deal of the chat that Dina has to read through is 30% cat quotes. Yeah. If I ignore some things, it can go a little faster. Major Nobody Cares, still the best bit from the Sonic movie. Yeah, that was funny. Dina, I'm going to ignore the Sonic comments. Chat types more Sonic comments. Yeah, and I did react to a couple of them. I like to think that Cat gets along with Crichton because he's possibly the main provider of the food. Yeah, that's a good theory, actually. Like, Misty keeps nuzzling my mom the most, even though she's the one who feeds her the most. As she's the one that feeds her the most, yeah. They do tend to do that. Not always, though. The cat we had when I was a kid seemed to like me more, and my mom was the one that fed her. Hi, baby girl. It has a kitty rubbing on my neck. Sorry, Dina, you can't show that clip without us quoting Smug Mode. It's such a fun Crichton moment. Yeah, it is. We only had to mention you skipped the Sonic talk to set it in motion again. Yeah, it's usually how it goes. The enter key rebelled. Giving Tara pets right now. In Michael Caine's voice, you're only supposed to press the bloody enter key. What was that from? The problem with Tom and Jerry is that the characterization isn't consistent. Well, I mean, it doesn't really need to be. They're shorts. It's not like there's like character development or anything. You know, Tom was originally named Jasper in the earlier cartoons. Don't know why that was. Yeah, I know. I don't know what Jerry's name was, if he had one. Early installment weirdness, yep. It was said they were melted down from the sword of Arthur Eld. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it's been a little while since I read the books, but yeah. Can agree on cats can be both smart and stupid. Example, my cat trying to jump to the top of a chair only for it to tip over. I'm kind of surprised we never had a Red Dwarf Christmas episode. I know, and Lister even like mentioned Christmas a couple times, but we've never. It's always happened off screen. I've given pleasure to the world because I'm such a badass, and it was true. From the Italian Job, you were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Oh, okay. That's like Odie. He knows exactly who's most likely to feed him, my mom, and follows her when he wants something. Of course, we can't give him anything extra anymore. Yeah. Apparently everyone died during the scene Tails put his tails over Sonic when they're sleeping. Oh, died as in, yeah, I see what you mean. I thought you meant that literally. I was like, what? I don't remember anyone dying in that movie. Baby girl, why are you under my chair? I'm afraid of running her over. Well, she's in front of me, so I can back up. I gotta go to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. If I can get around this kitty. If I can get around this kitty. had to stop and pet Soul. Died from the cuteness, right. I figured that out right after I said it. They're all Don, Dave. Oh my god. Everybody's dead tails. Imagine Sonic saying Gordon Bennett. So it's not enough for Knuckles to be British. Everybody's British now. That sleeping scene alone has created an entirely new generation of Tails shippers. Of course. Oh, keyboard repelled. Curtsied. You can't pass by Soul without petting him. It's the law. Yup. He's so poofy. He's so soft and poofy. I gotta pet him. I remember someone speculated that the cat smelling things in space was just a cat saying, kind of like how we'd say we see something even though we don't physically observe it with my eyes. Yeah, but as I said in the video, cat tends to be a little more, cat tends to be a little more literal than that. When Eggman shows up again at the door, oh Smeg indeed, matey. Odie just came in, sniffed around my room for a bit, sniffed in the bin, and had some scratches and pets. Aw. Alright, let's watch Identity Within. I think that's what this is. And I'm probably gonna have to quit after that.
So, the reason I've been talking so much about Kat and Lister's relationship is, well, partly just because I think it's interesting how it's been handled on the show, how it's evolved and such, as Kat himself has evolved. But another reason is because it was supposed to culminate in an episode that would have focused on the cat. It was going to be called Identity Within, and it most likely would have come between Tika to Ride and Stoke Me a Clipper in Season 7.
That's a cute picture.
It was scripted and storyboarded, but it never made it to the filming stage. Instead, it was made into a non-canon kind of proto-episode with Chris Berry doing all of the characters' voices over animatics. So this is partly what all that was leading up to, and what I'm going to talk about in this video. We open on Starbug at night, where Lister has just been woken up by an alarm. It turns out that Kat is in pretty bad shape. Also, Crichton has some nanosensors that he's injected into Kat's nervous system. We can see them on the screen, and they look like tiny Crichton heads with a propeller in the back.
One of them
That's so cute.
Picking up toxic traces everywhere, sirs.
I just love that so much.
This stuff is more poisonous than a day-old box of chicken dippers.
Anyway, it turns out that Kat's race has a built-in incentive to mate in the form of an internal poisoning where the antidote is the body fluids of the female cat. But as sick as he is now, it's temporary and will get better in the short term. But it is kind of a warning shot.
That's a sack of poison big enough to keep Lucretia Borgia busy for years. And it's primed to burst.
So now they have to find where the surviving members of the cat race went, so they can find Cat a mate.
We could reset Starbug's tracking mandate from Find Red Dwarf to Find Pussy. If you
find pussy.
Such an obvious joke, but it would have been worth it for this episode to exist, if only to hear the real Crichton say that line.
Seems to be an inherent weakness in the species if procreation has to be enforced by death. Really? And who'd breed with you, except at gunpoint?
Rimmer has some amusing thoughts as to what he expects the cat race to be like.
Here we have an individual who thinks an emergency flare is something you carry in case of a sudden 70s party. If he's typical, they must have died out centuries ago.
There's nothing to do but wait, sir. Come back and finish your game.
I'm mostly going to gloss over this scene where Crichton and Lister play dominoes, but there's one aspect of it that comes into play later, that Crichton always wins.
From a cursory glance at the indentations and slight scuffing on each domino, we can easily identify and memorize which is which, and therefore accurately hypothesize which one our opponent will play next. I'm sorry, is there supposed to be some element of surprise?
Later, Lister visits Kat, who appears to be looking at slides of basically women in skimpy catgirl outfits. Lister is kind of amused, but it turns out that that is basically medicine for Kat.
You can laugh, but soon I'll be stiffer than a Doc Martin boot.
And he's not very happy with Lister.
Kat, I was wondering, how come you never mentioned this little condition of yours before?
Maybe you never asked. Lister is stung.
Meanwhile, the tracking system has picked up on something which could very well be a female cat. Unfortunately, it's headed toward Gelf space.
Oh, come on, fellas. What's the worst that can happen? We get something to dunk our toast in.
After they land, Crichton tells them that the Gelfs here are called Brefawino, similar to the Kinetawawi Gelfs from Emohawk, but bigger and basically designed to be warriors.
And possess 3 separate sets of teeth. One for hunting, one for eating prey, and one for tearing the cellophane off VHS videos.
So they enter a settlement being guarded by 2 Gelfs, who let the rest of them in, but they stop Cat.
Thanks, guys, but I shave electric. It's my cologne, isn't it? Too much fish? I'll go back and change it.
Bullshit. I don't believe for a second that Cat goes around smelling like fish. I know food-scented perfumes aren't unheard of, but that'd be like me going around in garlic-scented perfume. I do like to cook with it, and I like how it smells in food, but I wouldn't want to be smelling it all the time, or especially have people smell it on me. Anyway, the Gelf lets Cat go. Apparently it thought it recognized him as a cat, but now thinks it was mistaken.
I am a cat.
I wouldn't go shouting about it, sir. The word for cat in Brefawino is the same as the word for 4-limbed crispy bar snack.
So the Dwarfers plan to stick together in this marketplace, but each ends up getting distracted by something.
Oh my lord! A complete wash wiper and valet kit. Is that really a catalogue of early 21st century shuttlecraft license plates? Gelf Lager? Lister nips into the saloon.
And eventually Cat gets left alone.
Stick together, huh? I've seen better teamwork in the Welsh Crochet Squad. But somewhere around here...
And finds what he's been looking for.
A dynamite she-cat in combat fatigues, currently knocking a slavering Gelf off the bars of the cage that holds her. This is Aura. I'm nobody's pork scratching, you great orthodontic oaf.
So he makes some very awkward attempts at small talk.
Nice cage.
Keep the vampires away.
Betrayal, treachery.
Like someone borrowed your best shoes?
Like someone sold us out to the other side. The whole platoon wiped out.
Then flirting.
Go on, I want to know all about you.
Why?
Well, I thought we might go out and stuff.
Aura looks at Cat, then bursts into laughter.
But she, doesn't believe he's really a cat.
You a cat?
Yeah. Meow?
Stop it. But you have no poise, no instinct. You don't even smell like a cat.
Ouch. Back on Starbucks sometime later, it turns out that the bar that Lister went to earlier was a gambling den where they gamble with mushy peas, and he won a whole bunch. Now this bit is interesting. Lister enters a dark room and...
Fellas, there's a low growl from out of the dark. Yeah, I could do some lunch too.
I can imagine Cat looking legitimately threatening here, even though Lister isn't buying it.
Cat prowls around Lister.
Anyway, Cat realizes how much he's changed and is frustrated about it.
I've slowly got timid, logical, almost human.
Apparently at one time he was able to leap onto a table in one jump. I would love to see that. But now he can't even leap onto a chair. But he does make it onto a stack of magazines.
There you go, high jump champion.
And now Cat is mad that Lister didn't help him find his people sooner.
Why was it never find Cat his people?
We would have got around to it.
Now they don't know me. I'm an Uncle Tomcat.
Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tomcat.
I hate to guilt trip you or anything, but I'm probably gonna die, and it's all your fault.
Cat grabs his bazooka.
That's a good line. I'd hate to guilt trip you or anything, but I'm probably gonna die and it's all your fault. I didn't want to guilt trip you though.
And sweeps out. Lister takes a moment to grasp all this.
But it turns out that Crichton heard all that, even though he's pretending that he didn't.
You think it's my fault, don't you? That he's become a kitty and not a cat? Not at all, sir. It's not as if you've given him a saucer of milk and tickled his tummy every day of his life. Right? We ran out of milk 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I love that line, though it sounds more like season 1, which doesn't make sense. But oh well, rule of funny. But yeah, Lister blames himself for all of this and wishes he knew of a way to help him.
Tense, Mission Impossible type music.
Later that night, Cat makes his way back to the Gelf marketplace alone.
Though crippled by cruel years of domestication, the cat commando still moves with the grace of a panther.
And this scene is amazing.
Cat bonks his head on an overhanging stall sign. It hurts.
Ow!
He hits the sign a second time.
God damn!
If they had filmed even just this scene, I would have been happy.
Hey,
Cat
so?
ducks expertly under another hanging sign, smiles in satisfaction, and falls down a hole.
Probably the worst part is the Gelf helping him out of the hole, and Cat is so oblivious he doesn't even care.
That's it.
The guard hands Cat back his bazookoid, salutes, and walks away.
Anyway, all is elegantly
How
turned
little
out.
of a threat he
Cat
is.
Commando cuts a dash among...
God, I would give anything to see Danny actually act out this scene. He adds a lot of fun little animations to this character that there's no way these stills could do it justice. Oh, and Cat's been wearing silk combat fatigues. I think I see more fan art in my future.
I never did draw that.
Moodily in her cage.
Aura just happens to have a raincoat. I love that. Cats always seem to be able to avoid getting wet no matter how bad it's raining.
She looks up. It's Cat. Surely any cat would have known there will be a storm at 9:27.
Nice raincoat.
Standard issue.
Anyway, stand back.
Anyway, Cat tries to destroy the bars of the cage with his bazookoid, repeatedly, but it doesn't do anything.
Why can't you just sense that the cage is made of aurada? That every blast of energy just makes it stronger? Could it be because you're not a cat?
Ouch again. But she knows what to do. Come to think of it, the cat race did come from Red Dwarf, so it makes sense that they'd know their way around bazookoid.
She throws a switch on the bazookoid. The bars go gray.
Anyway, the bars are finally destroyed, but it causes the bazookoid to explode.
Now, that castle gate is...
Cat tries to lead her to safety, but instead leads her into 4 Gelf guards. Cat gets immediately knocked out, but...
The guards fall on Aura, and though she levels one with a flying kick to the groin and blinds another with a sharp jab of her fingers...
Hi, George.
Aura's kind of a badass.
Stupid damn pretend cat who doesn't have the instinct of a ceramic tile.
But she does end up back in her cage again.
I hate you.
One Gelf in particular, who stands apart from the rest due to the ornate belt he's wearing, approaches the cage.
Running his tongue over his 3 sets of teeth.
This guy is obviously going to make another appearance later. Meanwhile, Lister has an idea where he'll go back to the gambling den, win a bunch of money, and just buy Aura.
They fall in love, he doesn't croak. Lister beams proudly.
And to
They fall in
guarantee
love,
the
he
win,
doesn't
they're gonna have
croak.
Crichton cheat similarly to how we did when they were playing dominoes earlier.
Signals? You to Rimmer to me? A sniff means bet high, a wink means bid low.
But Crichton's ethics applications may not allow him to do something that dishonest, even if it's for a good cause. Lister convinces Crichton by showing Cat in his room trying to jump onto a stack of magazines, and it's pretty pathetic.
Come on, man. Just one more magazine. A leaflet, maybe. You gotta try. They can love you.
And Crichton is sold.
Crichton turns decisive. I'm in. Let's fleece the bastards.
There's another line I would love to have heard Robert Llewellyn say.
Let's fleece the bastards. I notice Identity Within is longer than most episodes. I would imagine that's because of all the descriptive stuff that has to be read out loud. I imagine it probably would have been, more of a normal length if it had actually been filmed.
Later on, they go back to the gambling den, and we get to see Crichton's point of view of the game.
A pack of cards at a table across the room, which, although stacked in a dealer's hand, now digitally unravel themselves in a fan until 2 cards are picked out by flashing outline. Next hand, says the display. Bet high. Sniff now.
He signals to Rimmer, who of course has a girly drink in his hand, and he signals to Lister,
And ladles a great wadge of mushy peas from a little pot in front of him to a great big pot in the middle of the table. The cards are dealt. Lister wins.
who gets kind of smug, and the Gelfs don't appreciate that.
This guy is really getting on my tits. General nods of agreement.
I know it's in a good cause, but I can't help feeling cheaper than a Brazilian soap opera.
Meanwhile,
Cheaper
Lister
than a
has
Brazilian
drinking
soap
water
opera.
That turns out to have a pretty high alcohol content.
I'd say that's because they filter it using fermented barley and industrial kerosene.
Rimmer and Crichton look at each other in alarm. Then at Lister. Lister, patently pished, is flicking his mushy peas around.
And he gets even more obnoxious, and he eventually gets sloppy
I felt a
and
cat
bets
rubbing on
ton
my leg because I
backhand
imagined it.
and loses.
Crichton and Rimmer shake their heads in despair. Lister gets some peas in the face.
But he's too drunk and humiliated to be thinking clearly, so he bets
I love the way they
Starbuck.
drew his eyes
Rimmer
there.
wants to knock him out with a bar stool.
He can't bet if he's technically unconscious, can he?
But it turns out that Lister has a great hand anyway.
Sniff, sir. Sniff till your nostrils get friction burn.
I'm surprised there is no remark about Rimmer's flared nostrils there. The show loves to poke fun at that.
We found them in the woods, your flared nostrilness.
Lister drops the Starbug keys in the central pot and looks up to see Rimmer and Crichton sniffing and thumbs-upping like Billy-O.
I'll bet that would have made a great visual.
And as the cards go round the table, Lister is rubbing his hands, and Rimmer and Crichton are twirling arm in arm at the bar.
That too. But then the Gelf with the belt returns and sits next to Lister, and he ends up getting dealt the hand Lister was supposed to get. So he wins the mushy peas and Starbug instead.
Bloody cheated you.
What were you doing all this time, Lister? Crichton tries to reason with him.
He wasn't gambling for mere profit, but risking his all for the life of a friend. Where's your compassion? Where's your sense of charity? Ah, I see Sir gave already.
Meanwhile, Cat is already at the auction
That's a
thinking
good
they were
one.
going to win the money, so he starts bidding.
Another Gelf bids. Cat raises 2 fingers.
This is easy. See, honey? I'm good with my fingers.
There's another line that would have made the whole damn thing worth it. Cat keeps bidding until he wins.
You dudes got the teeth. You just don't got the dough.
Only then do the rest of the dwarfers show up.
Yes. Cash flow. Small problem. Blunt mode. Sir, no cash. You're dead, cheese lunch.
But then the Gelf with the belt shows up and outbids Cat.
Everyone, including Aura, looks at Cat.
Could I arrange a small loan?
Aura slaps her forehead. I despise him. Aura is led off in chains by Zurl.
You let me down again.
Cat is just completely fed up and is going to stop relying on Lister and take this into his own hands, however dangerous it may be.
I'd rather die a cat than live as someone's pet.
Suit yourself. Give me the collar and the worming tablets any day of the week.
Knowing Rimmer, he's probably not exaggerating.
Be logical, sir. He's bigger than you. He's faster. He has more chewing gear than a White House shredder.
Ouch.
Cat pulls a sword from the scabbard of a nearby Gelf and dashes off after Zurl. Crichton and Rimmer look at each other. Dead. Zurl pushes Aura back into a dark corner, menacingly. Aura spits at him. I want you to know that when you've eaten me alive, I'm gonna haunt your intestines.
She really is kind of a badass.
I'm gonna haunt your intestines.
You ever use that sword? Or is it the only thing you can find to dangle down your trousers?
And there's another line. So there's a sword fight.
I'm afraid you're dead, Mr.
Cats are
Pretend
chasing
Cat.
each other.
Cat turns to her, still fighting.
Thanks for the encouragement.
He's a skilled murderer. You're an idiot.
But then Cat does something totally random.
Suddenly, Cat stops dead. Like a statue, Zurl reaches out an exploratory finger to touch his frozen opponent. And suddenly, Cat has sprung back to life again, knocking Zurl backwards with his sword.
And it works.
Now it's Cat who's on the offensive, hopping on one leg while he slices at the Gelf. Why are you doing that?
Cat's chasing while Cat fights.
Call it bonkers, more like. But Zurl is clearly confused by Cat's erratic behavior. Finally, Cat sticks his left hand out, at the ready, for no apparent purpose. A moment or two later, Zurl trips, and his sword goes flying straight into Cat's waiting hand.
And Cat wins.
That's my cat, that is. Though not in the owner pet possessive sense, mind you.
Lies. He's about to deliver the final blow, but...
Wait!
It spoke. Zurl touches his ornate belt.
It turns out that the Gelf was not only a cat, but the captain of Aura's platoon. Apparently the belt gave him shape-shifting abilities. Also, it seems like he and Aura were a couple.
They embrace. And that's when Cat throws his sword, spearing Zurl through the middle. He crumples and dies.
Cat just killed a guy.
Steady on. If I didn't know better, I'd say that was a gratuitous act of jealous rage.
Actually, it was something else.
There she
He
is.
holds up a tiny, razor-sharp dagger.
And what's this then? A toothpick? You want to know who betrayed your platoon? Reckon I'm standing on it.
I don't... what can I...
Hey, shut up and stick your tongue in my mouth.
God damn it, so many great lines.
Pure, unbridled instinct. Arguably superior to any meg of onboard ram. He might be stupid, our Cat, but he's not thick.
Later, they're talking to Cat on a monitor who is about to leave and go off with Aura in an escape pod.
What about the sounds, man?
Yes, Barry White's 20 bump and grind classics already loaded in your mellow deck.
And Lister asks for a moment alone to say goodbye to Cat, and it's pretty heartbreaking.
I know I didn't always treat you with the respect proud and instinctual creatures should be treated with. I'm sorry. I'll miss you very much.
But Cat kind of ruins it.
Could you keep it short? Small matter of dying if me and the lady don't get busy real soon.
Okay, Cat. Au revoir.
Yeah, and goodbye as well.
And they're off. Afterwards, Lister has a moment with Rimmer.
Have you ever lost a friend and thought, how could I let myself do that? I must change. From now on, I'll tell everyone I know how much I love them. Listen, Rimmer, me and you. There's a long pause while Lister finds out what he feels. What? Forget it. You're the exception that proves the rule.
And once again ruined. But it doesn't really matter because...
Suddenly, Cat pokes his head through the doorway.
The cat came back, and not even the very next day, within minutes.
You'd only been gone 20 minutes.
But yeah, that's a long-term relationship for cats, apparently.
When I dropped her off at that planetoid, she and I swore we'd never forget each other. You know, me and what's her name?
Either way, he's back to his old self.
But I got the leap of a cat.
With a reminder that his potential is off the charts. But it's still gonna go mostly untapped.
He licks the ceiling exploratively.
Huh. When was it again we did tuna bake in the pressure cooker?
And so ends Identity Within. This is so bittersweet. On one hand, at least there's a way to see Identity Within in action, as it were. It really makes you want the finished product that much more. There's just so much that the actors bring to the table. Little things like Crichton acting all shifty-eyed and nervous in the gambling den, and saying things that are hilariously out of character like pussy and let's fleece the bastards. Not to mention Lister expressing his guilt over not taking proper care of Cat. It's not worded that way, but that's sort of the implication. Not to mention all the great body language Danny gives Cat. If you've seen enough Red Dwarf, you can kind of imagine that stuff, but it's really not the same as seeing a finished episode. Also, holy crap, we actually get to see some of Cat's people other than him, and they aren't polymorphs or about to die of old age. That's huge. And they seem to be a lot different from Cat. They're kind of a military-esque proud warrior race. Aura is kind of a badass.
I guess that's sort of carried over into Promised Land. I mean, half of them were like that.
Too bad she was basically a damsel in distress through most of this, but she was clearly not into that role, and she did get to kick at least some ass. By the way, Doug Naylor has said that the actor he had in mind to play her is the same lady who ended up playing the first ground controller in Back in the Red. So we can at least get an idea of what she would have looked like. Oh my god, she as Aura and Danny as Cat would have made such a cute couple. One thing that's a little weird, and that I didn't pick up on until I started these videos, is that I feel like this story disregards a lot of Cat's evolution throughout the series. Or maybe it doesn't so much as it treats it like a bad thing, even though Season 6 Cat isn't really that different from the cat people in this story. Like, in Season 6 he made use of his sense of smell and his instincts a lot, so it's almost like this should be Cat from a much earlier season, maybe 3 or so. So yeah, I guess they dumbed down Cat for this episode, which kinda sucks. That said, I do like that it kind of shines a spotlight on his relationship with Lister. Like I said, Lister kind of takes care of Cat in a way. Early on it was like a pet, and later on it was more like a little brother. And Lister's guilt over what's happening to Cat, looking back and thinking he kind of screwed up and now Cat might die because of it, that's really kind of heavy. Not to mention Lister having to say goodbye to him in the end. It would have been nice if Cat had been a little more sensitive during that scene. He did have his moments like that in Season 6. But since he only stayed gone for about 20 minutes, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this was a very ambitious script, and it would have taken up the budget for all of Season 7. Plus, there were 9 scripts, but they could only do 8 episodes, and the choice came down to Identity Within or Duck Soup, which is a very simple and inexpensive bottle episode. So naturally, Duck Soup was the one they kept. Some fans like to consider this story canon since Cat makes a throwaway comment in Back in the Red Part 1 that implies that he's had sex with a female cat before.
6 nipples? I wonder what the female of the species is like.
Pretty easy to please in bed.
But I always felt like there was an unspoken probably implied in that sentence. Especially since in Part 3 of Back in the Red, he says this line.
Another year when I have to send a Valentine card to my hand.
And of course in Can of Worms they straight up mention that Cat is a virgin, so my thought is that the creators stopped considering Identity Within canon as soon as they decided not to make it. So I finally talked about Identity Within. Looking back, I'm not thrilled that it seems to dumb down Cat from Season 6, but other than that, it would have been great to have an episode that really focused on the cat, and it's a shame that we didn't get it. At the time I'm making this video, we're up to season 12 and we still haven't gotten one. Yeah, I don't really count Can of Worms, but I'll
Oh
get to
God,
that
Can of
eventually.
Worms.
Next up, I'll be talking about season 7. See you then.
Now, are we all sure we have our badges of merchantship? Only traders are allowed within these walls. Does this potato mean I'm a farmer or something? Correct, sir. And what about this frying pan you've given me? It means you're a tosser.
Such a good line. You mean you're a tosser? Okay. I guess I'm probably gonna wrap up after I get caught up on the chat. What's left out of curiosity? Which version of the seasons do I cover? The whole universe revolves around Cat. Just look at the evidence. Oh yeah, that would be season 8. Actually, that's probably 8 and 9, but I hadn't gotten to 9 yet, so... Oh no, 7 and 8. That's right, I haven't covered season 7 of Cat yet. So yeah, that's going to be season 7 and 8. Then we have Back to Earth, and then Cat Spotlight Part 8. Maybe this is season 7 and this is 8 and 9 together. I think that might be the case. Would you be quiet? And then we get to season 10 of Red Dwarf, which will be fun. I'm thinking I might take a break from this and do an art stream next week, since I finally have some artwork that's ready to color. Here, I'll show it off real quick. What am I doing? Photoshop. I don't know how well that's going to show, but I finally finished a back view of Falcor, so God, those feathers were a lot of work. But yeah, it's finally done being inked. It just needs to be colored, so I might do that in next week. And then we'll get back to Red Dwarf, but we'll see. I never knew about Identity Within until I saw your vlog. Incredible. I knew there was an unused story about Cat having to have sex or die, but I never knew it existed as an animatic. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, everyone was telling me about it. You gonna talk about Identity Within? Was like every other comment in every other video. That was the bit about the Red Dwarf comics being in the Smegazine, which I kind of knew about that. I didn't really read them all. I think I have them downloaded, actually. Or did at some point. Garlic scent perfume sounds excellent. Okay. Did Crichton just say, "Oh my lord"? I don't remember. That does feel a lot of character, doesn't it? Usually it's like, spin my nipple nuts and send me to Alaska. I'm going to die because of you, but I don't want you to feel bad. That was a great line. Would have been interesting to hear Howard Goodall's take on the Mission Impossible theme. Yeah, that too. The worst guard award has been awarded. Oh, sorry. I think I already said hi to George, but hi, George. Stupid pretend cat who doesn't have the instincts of a ceramic tile. About Identity Within being longer, the animatics probably have a lot of stuff that doesn't make it into the episode. That too, but I do think that the descriptions of what's going on, you know, I do think that takes longer than just showing it, so I think that's part of why it's ended up being so long. An original story where Ace Rimmer visited the female parallel universe. And I think he got Deb Lister pregnant somehow. That's weird. Sniff till your nostrils get friction burns. Cats are getting inspired by this script. Yeah, they've since stopped, but I heard some thumping. I'm pretty sure that was them chasing each other up and down the stairs. I remember there was also a graphic noir story where Crichton enters an AR game and plays out a detective story as Jake Bullitt. That sounds fun. He might be stupid, our cat, but he's not thick. That's a good line. I wish he could have said that in the actual show. Oh, sorry. At least I got through most of this without yawning. Referencing the cat came back. Too bad the female didn't stay on board. It'd be nice to have mentions in later series. I don't know how they could have worked that. I don't know how they would have made that work. Imagine if this would have been Kat's last episode. I know it would have never happened, but it's interesting to think about. Yeah, good point. It felt like they were trying to make it seem that way. The cat episode we never got but really deserved. Yeah, exactly. Fiona Shaw, I don't know who that is. You either die an automatic or live long enough to see yourself become an episode. Maybe Kat was having a midlife crisis. So that'd be what, 4.5 lives crisis. I don't think any of the Catwomen we saw in Red Dwarf had more than 2 mammaries. I mean, the rest, like the other 4 could have just been like nipples. It's like that fan art I did of Cat where he only has 1 set of pecs. I would have scrapped a few episodes of Series 7 and made Identity within a 2-parter or 3-parter. I don't know that it needed to be that long. Kind of like Beast Wars, they also had an episode that was dropped but could have explained some later plot holes. Oh, that's interesting. Mammaries only show up on cats when they get pregnant. That's a good point. I always assumed they just had 2 breasts and the rest were just like, you know, kind of nipples sticking out of their stomachs or whatever. But that could be it too. Saw a woman yesterday wearing a shirt with that Total Recall image. That is pretty funny. Oh, no, not the feathers. God, they were a bitch. Chris Berry's Lister impression is more or less what fellow Scouser John Constantine should sound like, but DC properties always seem to give him a London accent. I'm not too familiar with that character. Season 10, aka when Red Dwarf started getting good again. I also liked Season 9, but yeah, 10 was maybe the funniest season. Maybe you should do a poll. The thing is, I think if I did a poll, everyone would just vote for Red Dwarf. Friends reviews? What? They were all good, just some episodes you need to forget some scenes. Oh, you're probably talking about Beast Wars. Yeah, Chris Berry is a really good impressionist. I love how Rimmer just occasionally like imitates somebody else in the show and he does it flawlessly. Okay, Adam, thanks for stopping by. I'm winding down anyway. Well, I'm trying. I just got a whole bunch more comments in the chat. Apparently you started streaming 17 minutes ago. YouTube hasn't updated yet. Oh. Pete was a two-parter because of budgetary issues in classic Doctor Who during the 70s. Especially season 7 would have story spanned 6 to 7 episodes. It would be more economical that way. Interesting. Oh, review of friends' content. I don't really have any friends. I don't know that I'd want to review the content of anyone I know anyway. That might be kind of weird. Like I'd be worried about offending them if they said something I didn't like or whatever. What colors are you thinking for the wings? You know, normally I always figured I don't know if I've ever drawn him from the back. I always figured his wings were purple in the back, but I'm starting to think maybe that's too much purple. So here I put in the base colors. So I'm thinking maybe dark gray, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have to be like either or. Maybe like a purplish gray or something. We never got to see Kat give a Gelf the old British knuckles. To be fair, we have been doing nothing but watching Red Dwarf for some time now. It's good to mix things up a little. Yeah. Did you get around to checking out Extraordinary with its very different take on Felis Sapiens? I have not. I don't remember that. Enjoying some spaghetti from Olive Garden. Lee and I, we have an Olive Garden gift card that somebody gave me like 3 years ago, and we still haven't used it because neither of us like Olive Garden that much. We only went once, but it wasn't a very good experience. We keep meaning to use it. Well, the purple is dark. How about silver or too light? Yeah, well, like I said, I was going to go with gray, but I'm not sure yet. My thought is that he looks here. I'll put in the front view too, so anyone who isn't familiar with him can get a better idea. Oh, I just realized how small that is on the screen. I hope you can see it okay. I'll bring up the front view also. Yeah, the thing is, one of the thing is that I noticed that he kind of looks like Diana because of all of the purple, which is intentional, but he doesn't look that much like Sylvia, although he does already have falcon wings, and Sylvia takes the form of a falcon, so basically what it comes down to is I want to make sure he looks like both of his daughters, kind of resembles them, even though they're cat people. So yeah, I thought he would look a little bit more like Sylvia if I made the wings gray, because in her falcon form, her feathers are kind of gray. Actually, they're kind of a bluish gray, I think. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, I was worried that would be too much purple. If all these wings and the tail feathers were all purple, that's a lot of purple. And also, again, purple is Diana's color. So he should have maybe a little more of Sylvia's colors from the back, but I don't know yet. Oh, making identity within a multi-parter would have solved the cost issues. That's true, and keep Series 7's 8-episode count. I just don't know that it needed to be that long. You tried the never-ending salad bowl, it never ends. Oh my god. The Olive Garden card? No, I'm going to use it at some point. Have you ever heard about Olive Garden's oh god, the Never Ending Possible. Everybody's quoting the Olive Garden quotes from Sonic. You're not family at Red Lobster. I like to think that Falcor meets up with Seymour from Final Fantasy X to compare notes. Did Seymour have wings? I don't think he did. Oh god, it's been a long time. I know he doesn't have hair like Seymour. I hated how Seymour's hair looked like a freaking anchor. Feel like Tails would peddle KFC instead. Fox stereotypes with chickens and all. Olive Garden, Red Lobster, or Purple Falcor. Steel blue color may work. Whatever you decide, I'm sure it'll look good. Yeah, that could maybe work too. Let me bring up an issue of an image of Sylvia, so you can kind of see how she looks for anyone who doesn't remember or doesn't know. What am I looking at? Oh yeah, I gotta go to gallery. I feel like DeviantArt kind of restructured their format at some point, and it's not harder to find stuff, but I just have a hard time remembering which buttons to click to get to where I want to go. Okay. Let's see if I can get that a little bigger. Here's my my design for Sylvia, and her hair is kind of a bluish gray, like a steel gray, kind of silvery. I was thinking of maybe that color for the backs of his wings, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't quite decided yet. He didn't have wings, but he did dress extravagantly. Okay, that I remember. Oh, hi, Morgan. I don't think I saw you before. I like your OC art. Have you ever tried the AI generators yet? Yeah, I've played with them a little bit. They're good for, like, if there's something I want to draw, but I'm having a hard time envisioning it. Sometimes, like, using an AI generator can kind of give you an ideas of where to put things in the image, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I always laughed at the hair as well. I always had an image of people just casually tugging on it as they walk past him. Like, I don't so much mind hair that defies gravity, but it literally, like, kind of doubles in on itself in a way that hair just physically cannot do. And it always bugged me. Dina thinks Pyramid Head looks good dressed as Pinhead. Oh, I forgot about that image. That actually was pretty cool. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm going to wind down now. I should be back next week. Like I said, I might be coloring this image instead of watching Red Dwarf. All of your characters seem to have really long legs. Not a problem, I've just noticed. Yeah, that just ended up being a thing with me. It's something I used to do accidentally with my art, and I just decided to keep it for Cybercats. Hair antlers. I like that. Yeah. Sounds like something Spoonie would say. Yeah, that's a good way to describe them. Hair antlers. Okay, everybody. Like I said, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. Long legs are your style. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, bye.